I give the CIA a total credit for sponsoring and initiating the entire consciousness movement, counterculture events of the 1960s.
Welcome back to another episode of Rise to Liberty. Today we have two very special guests from the Cult of Conspiracy.
That's it.
Sorry, got a little brain fart. Got so many things going on on my screen, but we've got the Cajun Knight and Raven Lee with us. How you two doing tonight? Now that we finally got this up and running.
Yeah, man, doing great. And also props to you for your music, dude. Hold on, Raven Lee is tapping on her phone. She can't hear us.
Oh, weird.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Raven, say something. Raven. Hello.
Raven.
She cannot hear us. Hold on. I'm gonna have to tell her we can hear her. Damn.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Well, shit. She cannot hear us for some reason. That's just wonderful.
Well, if you keep having an issue, Raven, let's see, let her know to
maybe leave and come back.
Yeah, leave and come back. So now that she got that figured out.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, now that we still having tech issues, it's fine. I swear to God, everyone else has tech issues with StreamYard except for myself.
It's a pain in the ass, dude. It really is. But yes, I was gonna give you props on your musical selection in the waiting music there. That was like 1970s vibe French music, and I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. I speak a little Cajun French, not that French, but like that sounded awesome. Cut to the intro music. I'm just like, oh man, we're all over the place here. We're just bouncing back and forth with emotions. I dig it.
Well, it's just kind of a way to let everyone know that we are live. You know, 5 years into this, and I used to just go live, but then, you know, everyone kept missing like the first 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I'll just let a notification go out first. And honestly, I absolutely love Unsolved Mysteries, so I totally just had to throw that in.
I like it.
Yeah, I've got
that
so much
intro was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was like, this is so cool.
As soon as I could make the Unsolved Mystery logo, but say Rise to Liberty, I was stoked, and like I was just jumping up and down for joy because it's just one of my favorite TV shows. So, but anyways, that's less about me and more about you two. So first and foremost, what is Cult of Conspiracy and exactly where did it start?
All right, so real quick, where are we live streaming to? Because certain platforms have mean internet words, and I feel like I need to ask this before we get off in the rip, because like, you know, do I have to mute myself and say self-delete, or can I say, like, you know what I mean?
After the first 10 minutes, you can say whatever you want. Even though we are streaming to BoobTube, I'm not monetized. They're never going to let me get monetized, so I honestly don't care.
All right, cool. But anyway, yeah, brother. So the Cult of Conspiracy was started in 2020, as a matter of fact. My former co-host Jonathan of Now Metamystics and I, he started the podcast, and about 5-6 months later, I joined on as the new co-host, and we pretty much just figured that we caught lightning in a bottle, and we had no intentions of this ever becoming a full-time job. It was a passion project. It was two, dumbasses with microphones, as we always said. We said something else, but we're still before the 10-minute mark, so I'll be kind. And we just talked about anything and everything conspiratorial, and really and truly nothing was off limits, within reason, and esoteric things, false history things, government conspiracy things. And then we got kicked off of YouTube, as a matter of fact, in 2020, because I jumped on full on in August. By November, we had gotten 3 strikes, got kicked, waited the 30 days, and gotten 3 more strikes for stuff that we had did a few months back. And like, it's to the point now to where, like, I can't go to his house and get on my phone on my YouTube and like a video. They're tracking his IP.
Right.
So like it's bad. YouTube is not a fan of the Cult of Conspiracy, which at the time was fine. We were
Right.
doing it just for the love of the game. We had no intentions of becoming content creators, quote unquote. It was just fun, you know.
Right.
Cut to a few years later, we got our first, check for $250 for like 3 months worth of work. And we were beside ourselves because we would have done this for free for forever because we genuinely love talking about conspiracies. It's what made us tick,
Right.
And then the hobby became a side hustle. The side hustle became the main job. And I got to tell you, man, it's the best job I ever had. Cut to Jonathan, his heart and his artistry was pumping him more towards the direction of Gnostics and esotericism and more of the metaverse, for lack of better words.
Right.
And I've always been a deep conspiracy head. So we parted ways very, very amicably. All things are good. Me and him are still great friends to this day. There was no bad blood or creative differences that led to some spat, nothing like that. He just realized that if he's going to start a new business from the ground up, he needs to devote all of his time and energy to that business.
Right.
And that happened about October of last year. And Raven Lee, who has been a friend of the show for quite some time and a personal friend of mine for years, pretty much jumped in to save the day to become the new co-host and has picked up the ball and ran with it ever since. And that is it, man. We are the Cult of Conspiracy.
So first and foremost, like, where did you guys start with conspiracies? Because everyone has, their entry into just finding out that life is not quite what we were told,
Yeah.
or so. Raven, let's start with you. Where did your journey start? Like, what was the first thing that you were like, wait a second, that doesn't quite make sense?
So my first intro into conspiracy, like true conspiracy, would be I just got black pilled. There's like no happy way to say that. Like it started out with Pizzagate. Um and then it was just everything all at once because one of my closest best friends, this is like her and her husband have been conspiracy people for like 2 decades at least. And one day we were talking and she's like, how do you not know about this stuff? And I'm like, oh well, I mean, I've always questioned things, but she's like, no, like you need to see all this stuff. And literally it was so much a massive amount of black pill information within like a month time frame. It was like, whew, okay, like I watched the video, like we had friends that were able to get some of the like dark web videos of like Anthony Weiner and like Hillary wearing the girl's face, like cut it and doing all this stuff. We saw the video that some people seen, and I don't know if everyone's seen it or not, but the video in which you see a room with multiple screens on it, and it's supposedly on Epstein Island. And if you scroll in on the screens, you'll see one table that looks like people are eating people. You'll see another one of like a torture. You see another person that looks like Hillary Clinton or somebody like her that's walking down a hallway. Like we saw those videos, and we saw like multiple videos of it was like a compilation of a ton of people that were having, oh, I forgot we're on the boob tube. Are
No,
we on the past?
you're good. You're good.
Okay, I was like, oh God, I just remembered. We
You're
saw a
good.
compilation video of it was a lot of people. I'm trying to think of like a politically correct way to do this. They were being harvested in like off like a docking slab in China where like they're being thrown onto the slab and laid out in categories. They were all
Organ
unalived
harvesting.
and yeah. And then like there was a room that there was a guy that you could tell it was like a button or something, and he's
Right.
walking on this hallway and there's just stacks and stacks of dismembered bodies and all this stuff. And so that was like my official black pill kind of a
Damn, you
situation.
just dived in with both feet.
Yeah, there's a lot more. Like
Right.
it got real dark real fast. And I was like, wow, okay. I mean, I had always assumed because of just my own curiosity and the way that I view things. I'm like, this doesn't add up. These things don't make
Right.
sense to me. I question a lot of different aspects and stories and things like that. I didn't really give it much mind, or like, I was like, some things don't add up, but I'm also like, what am I going to do about it kind of a situation.
Right.
And then, I started doing more and more. So for me, it was all about the environment and the environmental issues, and a ton of TED Talks that didn't make any sense. And I was in school to become a midwife. And so I was taking holistic classes, I was taking herbology at multiple levels. I was doing a ton of research into the medical field and all these things, because even though a lot of classes were heavily liberal, a lot of the information that we were ingesting was, I wouldn't say conspiracies, but showing trends and patterns that didn't make any sense about what was going against the quote unquote grain. And
Right.
then my best friend, one of my best friends was like, well, since we're already here, let's talk about all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, my whole life just like imploded, but like it's fine. Like it's so fine. I
Right.
lost sleep for like I didn't honestly sleep for like 3 months. Like I'm not gonna lie. It was so many things. And because I was like I was freshly postpartum pretty much. I was like, oh my
Oh,
God, how am I gonna protect my children? Like it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my intro into this whole situation.
damn. Really just getting it going. That's
Yeah.
that's intense. What about you, Jacob?
So I grew up in a household where one of the parents is very conspiratorially based, right? But my mother is well, was anyway, more of the traditional conspiracies. The JFK assassination wasn't what we think it was. The moon landing had some chicanery with it. We
Right.
can't trust the government. The internet is watching us. The very basics, right? Cool,
Right.
cool. For me personally, my deep dive really began in 2006, 2005, give or take. Whenever a buddy of mine who was from New York and I was living in Louisiana, he moved here and he was watching some YouTube video about 9/11 truth. And I knew nothing of the 9/11 conspiracy at all. And he was like, bro, look, this video is only an hour long, but you need to watch it, and don't watch it at school. Go home and watch this and then come back tomorrow and tell me what you think. And I got to be honest, I've always been a very inquisitive person. I've always been somebody that's going to do a deep dive to an absolute ridiculous, damn near autistic level. And I'm good with that. And when I got to the end of that rabbit hole, I realized, nope, no, there's a lot of fuckery here. There's no other way to look at it. So
Right.
that started unraveling the sweater for me personally. Now, knowing all of that, I still went and joined the Marine Corps. And Raven and I are both Marine Corps veterans. And I joined the Marine Corps knowing full well that the government was corrupt. They hate us. They want to exterminate a mass portion of the population. It's all about control. It's divide and conquer tactics. But that didn't dissuade me from wanting to serve and do the things and the stuff. Cut to, I am in the Marine Corps, and through a very strange chain of events, I end up being stationed in Washington, D.C. And being in DC, it only confirmed, because I wasn't just in DC at some sort of a lower level, yes, but
Right.
within the first year of being there, I had met both George Bush's, Colin Powell, a lot of people. And this is under the Obama administration, I might add.
Right.
But because of where I was and what I was doing, I was accidentally around a lot of high profile people. And it's not like I was privy to any of these, backroom conversations that they have about how the world shakes out. Clearly not.
Right.
But it gave me an even deeper look at behind the curtain, so to speak, at what really goes into making DC what it is and how politics actually runs. It's very rarely about the issues. It's about who's throwing more money at the issue to make the politician, regardless of what letter designation they have by their name, regardless of
Right.
what are you pro or anti oil, tobacco, energy? It doesn't matter. That very little matters. It actually matters about where their particular paycheck is coming from and where their investment portfolio is looking like it's going next. And it all has to tie in with the legislation. So it gave me a really good look at what makes our political structure what it is. And it only solidified more of my conspiracy conversations, right? And even in my platoon, the dudes thought that I was a psychopath. Cut to, Epstein Island gets confirmed to be real, and it's like, yeah, no, we've been kind of talking about this for quite some time. Yeah, back in 2012, when y'all thought I was crazy for talking about an island where the elites go with these kids and the rituals, sacrifice, and all of this, it's not so crazy anymore, is it? And I've had a couple of buddies I started with, like, dude, you were talking to me about this literally over 10 years ago, and I'm like, I know you think that was crazy. Wait till what happens next. You know what I mean? But yeah,
right. So, I mean, why did you choose the military? Like, even like knowing what you knew,
yeah.
but yet you were still like, hey, let's just head into the meat grinder.
So, long story short, I'm a Christian. Not that necessarily matters, but for this story, it kind of does. I believed from a very young age, and by that I mean 3 years old, that it was my mission. God put me on this earth to join the military, go to combat, and save people's lives, and do some sort of ministry in that regard. Now, I was very young, very naive, and had no clue what the actual world was about. But that being said, regardless of what the world was, regardless of what politician was in charge or what war we were fighting, like, you could not dissuade me from this. From literally 3 years old, I saw Saving Private Ryan when I was 3, and it just like clicked, and I'm like, clearly this is my mission. This is the way.
Right.
And so I joined. Cool. All things were fine. I did not actually get to go to combat. It's actually my life's biggest regret. But that wasn't my choice. I was voluntold to go to DC rather because I joined infantry. So I'm an infantryman by trade. I joined for the purpose of going to combat. But needs of the Marine Corps dictated that at that time and at that place, I was voluntold to go to DC and do the duties that I did. The time came for reenlistment, and the combat operations had pretty much all but ceased. 2014, we had some forward deployed things going on, but it was more of more Overwatch and more policing, and that's not what I joined to do. Plus, I saw the military for what it was at that time, and you'll talk to 5 different veterans, and you'll get 5 completely different stories of how their career went. There are certain, telltale signs that certain things that traverse rank and base and all these things, but it clearly wasn't what I needed to do moving forward, especially because I at that point was married and had kids and all the things. But yeah, joining the military was going to be a path that I took from a very early age.
What about you, Raven? Like, did you have any trepidation joining the military, or were you just like bought into the whole like USA gung ho?
I I had dated a Marine prior to going into the Marine Corps, and I saw the way that his experience was very brotherly, and it was very like, they were really close knit, they were super tight with each other, all the things. I was in a bit of a position in my life where I felt really stagnant. I should have honestly continued my education and I wanted to become a doctor, and I had already had so many classes that I had taken prior to in high school for my degree in nursing and then shifting into that. But through a chain of events and an ex fiance, I literally woke up one morning and was like, I'm going to join the military. And I went I went to my friends, and I was like, all my best friends, and they were like, all of them flat told me I couldn't do it. There was no way I was going to be able to make it through the Marine Corps. Just there was, a lot of people didn't think that I had it in me, and so I went down to and one of my buddies was a recruiter. I called him up and I said, hey, I want to join. And he's like, all right. I mean, are you sure? And I'm like, yep. And I ended up leaving 4 days later. So it wasn't like I was super prepared. Well, I ended up getting another girl's spot because she had some issues with some of her paperwork. I wasn't supposed to leave for a few months, and they were like, you have to go now. And so, like, I still had a whole apartment. I was still technically engaged at the time. I literally quit my jobs. I left my dogs with my ex, and I left all my stuff there. Everything, nothing was packed up. Not a single thing was like done. So, yeah. And I found myself on some yellow footprints, and I was like, come hell or high water, if nothing else, spite will drive me to do anything. So I will push through anything to accomplish the task. And I recognized pretty quickly that I didn't have the mannerisms like a lot of the other Marines did. I questioned too much. I didn't I didn't conform quickly. I was like, why are we doing this? It's stupid. I'm sorry. This is dumb. Like, we could do this way and it's so much easier.
Sound like
So
you're trying to be an individual.
yeah, yep.
That's some
But
dangerous thinking there.
yeah, so I mean that's how I landed myself in the Marine Corps. And it was something that I was surprised that, I mean, I didn't have any doubts in my mind that I was gonna accomplish it. Everybody else around me
Right.
just did not think that I had it in me. Um, and I was like, well, cheers to you. So
Yeah. I saw something in the chat saying I've always noticed a correlation between being a veteran and being a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I'll just speak on that for a second. You want to find the most conspiracy minded human beings, find somebody that just retired from the military, regardless of what their job was and whatever else. The reason why is because the longer you work for the United States government, the less you trust the United States government. There's very
Right.
few exceptions to that, of these people that are like, just they started from, as a private, got out of some sort of a sergeant major, and they are just the, oh man, the military is just the best option I ever had. It was and they're just like, they will die on that hill. That is such a small number.
Right.
Not most of us that ever worked directly for Uncle Sam will tell you that motherfucker is on some dumb shit 99% of the time.
the green weenie will strike.
Oh,
and
that
it
green
has.
weenie, fuck you. And it very rarely comes loose.
It is.
Right.
It is a rough situation. So
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Just like, no matter how you interact with the state, no matter what, it is always just going to be the worst experience of your life. DMV, like I ran for office, and I totally see why just the whole thing is just garbage. It's just
dude.
bullshit.
Especially in the political realm. A buddy of mine tried running
Right.
for a little local office, and I think I might have told you this story. He goes to some dinner that all the people, he was running under the Republican ticket. He goes to some dinner that he was invited to. Awesome, cool. And he doesn't know anybody. He's not from here originally, but he lived here, so he was running. And he saw there was a table with an open seat. And not knowing anybody, he just sat down, and there was some woman sitting next to this open chair, and he just chit-chatted with her for about 15 minutes. Little did he know, he just fucked his political career for this entire area, because apparently this woman was not well liked by anybody else of the Republican Party. He had no fucking clue, but it doesn't matter. From that point onward, he couldn't get 5 minutes of time with anybody. And it's like, oh, that's just how politics works. It's 100% who you know and who you blow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
there's no way there's no way I could run for politics. I cuss too much. There's just absolutely no way.
Surprisingly, I didn't have an issue with that. I actually had a lot more fun, like, exposing my like radical beliefs. Like when I, told everyone that, government should not be involved in schooling, which the local newspaper called me a radical, the radical candidate, and I actually have that article still, so I can frame it. But
I didn't realize that was such a radical take, bro. My God.
Well, I said abolish government school was my position. Like, let's privatize all the education. And what's funny, that so I ran twice, cycle after cycle. First term, or first run, everyone was like like audibly gasped when I said it. And then the second time around, like, there were so many people on my side that time. It was
You're running for government with the intention of making the government more smaller?
Yep.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, save taxes.
Our governor would hate you. Oof.
Right.
Shit.
He wants all up in all of the schools.
Yeah,
well,
he
ridiculous. Does, but in a very positive way, I will say. I currently like our governor.
He wants to force the 10 Commandments in every school.
Oh, it's already done. It's there. And for the record, he did that out of his own back pocket. So the issue was, he just wanted a picture of the 10 Commandments posted in every school office, not every classroom, every school office. So he did it, and the liberals tried to like, he's trying to impose his religious beliefs and use our tax dollars and this and this. And he's like, oh, no. I pulled my own back pocket to fund the paper and ink to put this up everywhere. So we're good. We're cool here. And this is the same governor that's trying to undo what the last governor did, who pretty much let the schools have complete reign to put whatever bullshit books they wanted in these children's libraries. So I don't know. Of the two, we got books in the elementary school library talking about how to have gay sex with each other, or we got the 10 Commandments in the office. I know I might have a little Christian bias here, but God damn it, I really do like the second option. That's just me.
He has done a lot of interesting things as well. So like he has done good things and bad things so far for our state. So
yeah, you'll have them.
Hey, I mean, that's better than my governor over here in the state of Utah, who's literally just welcoming the new world order. So it's
your 15-minute city, man, is just chugging along. So
yep. And we just the feds just purchased a massive warehouse for the largest ice facility on the West Coast. It is 14 football fields big. So
yeah, they're really gearing up for that city, man.
Yeah, it's real gnarly. Because until now, Utah has had to take all of their detainees down to Las Vegas, which is the closest ICE facility. But now Utah's going to have the largest. So,
damn,
I don't know. We'll
see how it shakes out, I guess. Damn.
Yeah, it's really interesting over here, and it sucks because Utah is such a beautiful state, and I absolutely love it over here. But the politics are absolute trash. It is the worst part of the state.
That's how I feel about Oregon.
Right.
That's
Oregon
exactly how I feel about Oregon. So,
is that where you're from originally?
Mm-hmm. Yep, born and raised in Oregon, and I love my state. I mean, I love the. Let me be really specific about what I love about Oregon.
Yeah,
I love the outdoors.
Right.
I love, so where I grew up was very small. It's blown up now, but there was a lot of really good, like small country kind of feeling people. I love the mountains. It mainly, my thing is I love the outdoors. I love the options. So if you have, if you have any kind of health restrictions that like, i.e. gluten or dairy free and stuff like that, there is something that you can eat pretty much everywhere. There's a lot of really healthy food. I like the way that we focus really heavy on cleaning the environment, that we learn this at a young age, and we all just continue on, and like everybody, this is a big part of Oregon, is keeping the environment clean. I did beach cleanups since the time I was like 4 years old, honestly, until I moved out of the state. Every year I do beach cleanups. There's a lot of really positive things when it comes to those stuff. Then you have the not positive things. And the not positive things for me, unfortunately, outweigh the positive in a lot of areas. And so that's why I've only moved back twice, and then moved back out of the state and come back to Louisiana, because it's one of those things of, there is a lot of things. And realistically, if I homeschool my kids, or if I put them in certain types of schools there, I would feel comfortable with it. But there's a lot of things that I do not agree with personally for my family. And so I had a tough time being able to stay in that environment, even though I would love to stay in my home. But I love a lot of things in Louisiana as well. I've lived here for a very long time, and I love a lot of stuff down here. And so I go back and I stay in Oregon during the summers, and then I come back and I stay, and then I live here all the rest of the year. So
what's your opinion? What's your opinion on the Greater Idaho Project?
I have been for it for a long time. I've 100% been about it, because the way that they've wanted to break it apart, it makes a lot of sense to me. Also, it changed the electoral votes, and so it would help out, to be realistic. Like, because if you actually watched the election this last election, and I focused heavy on Oregon because I wanted to see what was going to happen. So I was watching real time, all the little dots and all the stuff. And so there was two big hubs of liberal pockets. There was 7 total like little counties that were included. The majority of the state though was conservative when they voted. And actually it did actually go to the conservative side for a good long while that day. And then the vote started to come in for Portland and Eugene, and that swayed it back. And so
Yeah.
you know,
Every time.
I don't have a problem with a lot of liberals because that they have, if they're not like on the far left, a lot of them are more towards the center. That's where I am too. I'm in the center with most things. And I like we can have the conversations. It's the problem is there's radical leftists and also radical right, and the radical left is kind of controlling a lot of the big hubs in Oregon and is pushing forward with a lot of
Right.
legislation that I don't agree with and causing a lot of chaos and really pushing forward with taxes and different things and hiding stuff in the bills that are harming all of Oregonians. And
Right.
so the conversation to split apart is to pretty much everyone's like, you know what? They want this half the state, then fuck them. We're going to all move to this side. And like, we'll all just live on this side and we'll just kind of adopt ourselves into Idaho. And
Right.
Idaho is down with it. I mean, Idaho's been cool about it and like, come on, let's go. Because they have a really good working relationship on that side of the mountains. So that's
Right.
where I'm
Well,
at
and
with it.
that whole portion of the state is red. So
Yes, it is.
I mean,
it is.
might as well. You know, it's
Yeah.
nobody wants to be controlled by the blue cities, which is one of the big issues here in Utah is now. So we basically have what's known as the Wasatch Front because Utah runs north and south. We can't build east and west because of the Great Salt Lake, and then we have mountains on the other side. So it's basically one long city. And there's like a couple of mountains that we call them points. You know, there's like North Salt Lake, South Salt Lake, and there's just like a couple of points that kind of split them up, sort of, but it's really just one big long city. And so the 2 largest counties are blue, and they're becoming more blue because of Colorado, California, Oregon. Everyone's moving here because of the tech and also defense contractors, and everything's going blue. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. However, I will say, after running for political office, it really kind of doesn't matter.
Not
Like-
really.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. It's on one hand, I'm still like, because I'm an anarchist, hardcore anarchist. I think voting is a waste of time, but I still also kind of want to vote for judges and my sheriff and stuff like this because,
Right.
you know, I feel like it's a tool that, you know, it might be worthless, but at least I'm trying to do something. 'Cause what's the alternative? Nothing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been of the belief that you should have to earn the right to vote. This whole
Right.
this bullshit about how, oh, I was born here and fucking
Right.
and that what difference
Yeah.
does that make? What have you done to contribute to your community
Right.
to earn the right to have your voice be heard in that spectrum? But for the record, I also believe that you shouldn't be allowed to serve in some sort of a public political office unless you've served your community. And that doesn't just mean military. That could mean police. That could mean firefighter. That could mean
Right.
local business owner that employs 20 people or more. Like there's different ways that you could serve your community in an overtly positive way. Or, and I've even said, like, you could start a whole program where instead of serving 4 years to the military, you start like a localized Peace Corps where for 4 years, 5 years, whatever, you serve your community
Right.
in summer, even if it's cleaning up trash. It doesn't matter. There's multiple ways that you could serve your community and earn your right to be, quote unquote, your citizenship. You ever seen Starship Troopers?
Oh yeah.
That.
Right.
Fucking that. Like, why, if we had that, do you understand how many bitches wouldn't be in the position that they're in right now? And how many of these people screaming and crying about things are unfair? Their voice wouldn't be heard because I'm sorry, you didn't
Right.
earn the right for your voice to be heard. But apparently I'm just an asshole for this. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be flat out honest. I don't think everyone should have a political opinion.
No,
You know?
my God, if
Um,
you can't tell me who is no, I'm not going to go there. But yeah, with you.
So to switch gears just a little bit, why conspiracy theories? Like why is that like your guys' thing? Why did you make it, I guess, your life? Because now you've made it your income.
Yeah.
So why conspiracy theories?
Well, honestly, they keep doing more shit. Like I can't even get through all of the research
Fair.
that I'm doing on episodes for the 1960s because we just shot an episode today. As a matter of fact, we were debating, should we do about Stonehenge? Should we talk about, because they just found some new findings about Stonehenge, which are really fascinating. Should we talk about what's it called? Artemis 2 launch that's supposed to be going down? Nope, stop everything. Trump just bought aliens.gov and alien.gov. We need to do deeper dive into this. Like, as much as we want to talk about the older shit, they keep doing new shit. And it's like, we'll never run out of things to talk about. But to be honest with you, the conspiratorial conversation is what me and Raven would be talking about, regardless if we had microphones in our face or not. So at this point, it's like, we're capitalizing on us being us, which is awesome.
Right. I mean, hey, if you're going to do it, you might as well be the best at it and try to get something for it, which is kind of my attitude towards it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but also it's something that you're passionate about, which, like I said, Jonathan split off and did metamystics because he was no longer passionate about conspiracies. At one point he was, but through all of his things, he wanted to get more into esoteric, mystery schools, these types of things, magic and whatever.
Right.
And that's cool, but his passion wasn't conspiracies anymore. My passion has been conspiracies since 06. So like, here we are,
Right. So what's kind of, I guess, like what realm attracts you? Is it like the cryptids? Is it like ancient history? Is it the government cover-ups, aliens, like all of it? But
kind of all of it. I'm way more of a history nerd than I am. I mean, honestly, I do armored fighting. So like I'm a bit of a history nerd. There it is. But I also like looking at, when I say history, not just ancient history, it's more of the just history as a totality. A lot of it that is a lie agreed upon. And there's a lot of archaeological evidence to say certain stories are factually based and certain stories are clearly not, and they get discovered later on. Cryptid conversations are always great, especially again when you look at their origin stories. Like, who was the first group to really document some sort of vampirism, or who was the first group to really document zombies? And it's fascinating to look into this shit and then to see how these stories have traversed time and gotten to where we are now. It's really and truly, dude, whether we're talking about aliens, cryptids, ancient history, crazy 3-letter agency buffoonery, it's all just, it's awesome to me to just do deep dives and try to expose it and inform the people of the things that we find.
Right. What about you, Raven? What kind of like sticks out to you is like, I guess, what are you drawn to?
I'm the science one. And so science is my where I like to go. So I do a lot into AI because I think it's really important for us to try to understand what's going on and what they're doing. I'm actually not good with computers or anything like that, but I'm not. I'm actually, I'm probably the one of the most like paw kind of like mama situation. Like I've actually, my mom is like the tech guru, and she's like well into her 60s. I had to call her to help me with everything. She's like, why do you never know anything? I didn't get my first iPhone until I was 26 years old. So I mean, my first time playing a video game, I was almost 27. So it's not like I've been more like in nature and like doing outdoor activities and stuff. But I grew up on a farm, and so I've always been really big into environmental science. And I've been really big into farming and agricultural and stuff, and watching, what's going on, what are they putting in our food, what are they putting in our water, how does this pertain to us, um, watching about, different kind of aspects of science and things. And then also what I really focus on is medical stuff as well. I've been a doula for 9 years now, and watching and learning all about the birth industry here in America versus everywhere else, pretty much, and watching and reading so much literature on the patterns of birth and neonatal mortality and maternity care and just everything like that. And then really diving into medical malpractices here and what happens with vaccines and what happens with all of this stuff that they are pumping into people and how we are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And why are we getting sicker is the big thing. So I have a degree in anthropology, and so I focus on pretty much everything human in all different aspects. And so I've gone on to archaeological dig sites before, and I've done that, and I've kind of been just a jack of all trades going all around because my obsession really is knowledge. And for
Right.
me, conspiracies is like the one thing that just the hub of all knowledge because it makes you research so heavy into topics that you become passionate about and you want to consume everything that's out there, and then you have to sift through it and figure out, well, what is really the truth. And so
Right.
that's where I'm at. He's super about history, and so we kind of blend back and forth of what we're into, and then it's never ending. Like we can't even get to episodes that we want to get to. We have a list right now of 170 topics that people want us to do, that we want to do, and we just keep adding to it. And we haven't even, I think we've gotten three, maybe
Yeah.
this whole year, we've gotten three.
Right.
So it's like it's never ending, and then trying to keep up with the trends and trying to keep up with the information, and then everything that came out with Epstein, and trying to decipher all of the areas that he was into and what those people were actually
Yeah.
doing, and then learning about what they're doing and trying to understand it. So then it's like you have to teach yourself all this other crap to understand what the hell they're doing because it's going to affect us in the long run. And it's like for me, it's just a passion about knowledge. It's just the ever
Right.
ending quest of more knowledge. I can't get enough of it. I want to keep learning. And I mean, I'd live forever ever just to be able to learn, honestly. So
Right. Well, I don't know how you guys feel, but honestly, one of my biggest pet peeves is being lied to.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I am
yes.
such a massive proponent of informed consent.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same.
I think that's why I'm drawn to conspiracies, is just because it's like, just be honest, you know? I don't know, it just bothers me that there's just so much dishonesty. So, kind of like your spitefulness to join the military and make your way through it, it's kind of my spitefulness to find the truth because I'm not going to be made a fool, and
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I don't care being called crazy because I mean, we live in a crazy world. So crazy in a crazy world, like and I mean, hey, the CIA documents just dropped talking about chemtrails. So, congratulations.
We were right.
Right. Hold on,
Yeah,
I got something for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. More and more things come out to where like we were right about, but it's not. I don't feel good about it. Like I'm not happy.
Right.
Like granted, I knew that I was right when I was talking about an island where the elites were doing horrible shit to children for years. I am not happy that that has been confirmed by all shadow of all doubt. Everybody now knows that this is a fact. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm having like, told you so. No, really, y'all. I wish I was wrong about so many things, but
no kidding.
chemtrails another one. Like we know that we're right. We've done the research into it. And like, I'm happy that that information is out to the public and now people are aware of it.
Right.
I am not happy that this has been going on for so long and that we were correct in our, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's a bittersweet.
No, it is bittersweet. I wish I was wrong.
Yeah.
I honestly, I miss the days when conspiracies were conspiracies.
Right.
Yeah, when there was no validation to it and you're just kind of talking out your ass. Yeah, now. And now it's like there's so much, it's just you don't even know where to start. Especially when I was just having this conversation with one of my kids actually about the clouds. And I was like, I'm going to tell you right now, clouds did not look like this when I was a kid. And she's like,
Not
what
at
do you
all.
mean? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, look, I was one of those kids that would lay in the grass and stare at clouds for like hours, pick out little shapes and whatever.
Same.
I'm like, those lines right there, that wasn't a thing. Like those
Right.
weren't there. The way that the clouds are forming right now, that is not how they were. And we were looking actually at old photos from the 90s, and it shows you like clear as day the difference in clouds. And she's like, what is this? And it's like, how do I
Yeah.
tell you that literally your entire world around you is poisoning you in every aspect? And be like, hope for the best.
I mean,
I'm
another one,
sorry.
look at
Like,
how many double rainbows we see. Growing up,
yeah.
I never saw a single double rainbow. As a matter of fact, there was that big YouTube video that went viral. That dude in Hawaii that was like,
Oh, the
double
music,
rainbow
double
all the way.
rainbow.
That was a rarity to see that. Now,
Mhm.
there's hardly a rainbow I see that isn't a double rainbow. That's not a natural thing, y'all.
Mhm.
By all means.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things now that, yeah, I know for a fact did not happen when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
clouds are definitely part of it. And, all of this like inversion, like everywhere, like air quality just sucks everywhere all the time.
Mm,
It's like that wasn't a thing. Like very rarely, if ever,
Yeah.
right.
And-
We didn't have to look at the weather before we left our house to see what the pollen and the smog looked like when
Right.
we lived in the fucking country. Like that was crazy.
Where
right.
you could actually see the stars and like all the alignments
Right.
and everything. Like we couldn't even see it. It was so bad, the weather. And the moon, like a giant blood moon, we couldn't even see because
Right.
because of the sudden fog that came in. But it's like a weird, thick, almost like smog situation that's happening.
Right.
I just Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat say they told their 12-year-old about the moon landing wasn't real. And
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's how I feel too when I tell them things. I'm
Yeah.
like, geez, I had it because my kid's watching the Morgan Freeman dinosaur situation. And this is like the 8th time watching this. And I was like, just to let you know that long necks aren't real.
Yeah.
Crashed out for like 30
Oh,
solid
man.
minutes. It was like, what do you mean the long
And it's like, look,
necks? I was
I
like,
was upset too when I found out that Littlefoot wasn't a real dinosaur. Like, I get
Right.
it.
Right.
Different generations,
like,
but like, I'm with you.
Littlefoot,
mine on and off
no.
all day was like, not the long necks. And I'm like, damn, man. I was like, I think you'd feel worse about the long necks than you do about Santa Claus at this point. Like,
Which I mean,
shit.
even still, that was ballsy for the archaeologists, quote unquote, paleontologists, whatever the fuck they're called, that found these pieces of the dinosaurs and glued them together and said, look, I found a new species. Like, bro, you wouldn't go for one that's like the size of a dog that like isn't some sort of a big player. No. You're going for one that you're claiming is the largest dinosaur of the ancient world. Like that is
Right.
a ballsy strategy. But the crazy part is that nobody could call the bullshit for years until now, where it's like, no, you're out of your mind, actually, because we have so much more
Right.
data to back the other side of, the true side of things. But anyway, it's crazy, man. And the
I
same
mean-
thing as far as like kids go. I just had a family get together, and one of these kids asked me, we have a bunch of nieces and nephews and my own kids. So there's like 11 kids at this family get together, and they all know that I'm the crazy uncle, and I wear that badge of honor with pride.
Hell yeah.
And someone asked me about 9/11. I don't know which one. I couldn't tell you. It doesn't matter. And before I started, I had to ask my brother-in-law. I was like, so how much are you okay with me telling them? And he's like, well, because his kids are homeschooled, but they're also like ridiculously intelligent and very, very
Right.
well educated. The homeschooling is top notch these days, to be honest. But he's like, well, I'll tell you what, why don't you tell them what the official narrative is, and then tell them your opinion of what happened. And, you could tell them about the facts of what, all the things, and let them draw their own conclusions. And I'm like, I am all on board with this, brother. All right, here we go. So there I was, basically telling these children that you cannot trust your government, and nor should you ever. And I hope that Uncle Jacob's words resonated with these children. And I don't think it's ever too young to explain to children that their government hates them and wants the worst for them. I think it's a good thing to start them off young with this information, actually.
Yeah. No, 100%. And in fact, conspiracy deniers bother me so much because I mean, this very country was founded on a conspiracy. So it's, I mean, this whole country is nothing but conspiracy, you know? And
Basically.
this idea of conspiracy doesn't exist, or conspiracy is it's so absurd that it's laughable, right? That it doesn't even dignify a response or to be taken
Bro,
seriously.
it
Like
kills me.
this academic, like, yeah, you know, it's
So you mean to tell me that the government is never lying to us? They're just
right.
100% honest, start to finish, and always have been. We're gonna be adults and have that
It's a bold
conversation right
take.
now.
It's
That
a
is,
bold take.
that is a bold fucking take, dude.
I have family members like this
Yeah.
Right.
in
So
California. Yep.
it's crazy. The crazy conspiracy, or not even conspiracy, the crazy hardcore ultra conservative group and the crazy hardcore ultra liberal group somehow believe certain portions of the story of the government and then hate the government for somehow the same reason, but on opposite ends of the spectrum. It's very strange. It's very strange.
Well, it does seem kind of like a tug of war, you know? It's different ways in which liberalism is being applied to how our now I don't even know exactly what to call our government because it's just it's
Shit
authoritarianism.
show.
Yeah.
Bureaucracy.
I mean, so in my mind, fascism and communism are both the same thing. They're both on the left because that's like extreme government no matter what. It's just the difference between a nationalist state and a like one world government, you know?
Yeah, people don't want to hear that either, but it's very true. If you look at on paper, if you line them out, fascism next to, let's just say, Marxism, because socialism
Right.
and communism I see is pretty much one and the same. I know there's some very slight differences.
Yeah,
but
they're the same.
but if you look at fascism and Marxism, there is way too many comparisons that are
Right.
neck and neck with these things, and like there's a few quote unquote key differences. They're not that drastic, honestly.
No, they're not. And this is why the left versus right thing cracks me up. And I mean, that's completely manufactured. I think that's what bothers me the most is knowing how manufactured that is.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and I can understand having opposing factions as far as
Right.
Ideas on how they want to run the government. You have one group that wants smaller government, one group that wants bigger government. And we can go back to Republican, Democrat, or the Whigs and the Thigs, or the whatever else, right? I
Right.
mean, as far back as you want to go throughout human history, there's always been a somewhat of a us versus them, even if it's on a philosophical standpoint. It doesn't go to violence and all these things, but
Right.
the way that they have us divided, I would argue that most Americans are more centrist. Now, there might be a little left of center, a little right of center, but most people, if you have that Venn diagram, most Americans are going to fall in that middle category way more than they're not.
Right.
But if you pay attention to the media, oh my God, we are more polarized and divided than we've ever been. Everybody hates each other, and we're one step away from
Right.
civil war. And it's like, okay, dude, sure.
Right. I mean, I think we're kind of always in that position, right? Because they've got to keep it on edge. Because we just got to vote harder next time. That's why nothing gets done. Because, you know, it's right there. We're on the verge of civil war.
because you didn't vote. Because
Yeah.
you didn't go. It's
Right.
your fault the
Right.
government's fucking you 10 ways a Sunday because you didn't vote and you didn't pay enough in taxes. And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure it's because y'all a bunch of corrupt assholes. I could be wrong, but damn.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
controlled chaos.
Absolutely.
It's definitely made, the whole thing is made to keep us divided so that way we don't start looking towards the actual government and pushing for change
Oh,
and
yeah.
being united. It's a really interesting plan and people all can see it, yet they still continuously fall into the trap of it. Whereas you could just
Right.
have actual hard conversations and find a middle ground on a lot of the different topics. There can be a resolution. Now, you're not going to get everything you want, neither party, but you can find at least a middle ground to agree upon some terms that meet both sides to the argument of whatever topic it is, and at
Right.
least come up with something that you guys can move forward with. And that's the problem, though. They've made it to where it's so opposing to each other that they cannot actually find it. They can't even have the conversation. They
Yeah.
can't even have the conversation. That's like I say it a lot about anti-vax and vaccinators and stuff, that they've strategically made it to the point where neither party is going to actually sit down and have the conversation and look
Right.
towards big pharma instead of at each other. You're not looking to big pharma and questioning, first off, what happened in the 90s, in the late 80s, in the early 90s, that shifted how vaccines were created. Who was a
Yeah.
part of that? Gates and Fauci.
Mhm.
Why did they have a hand in all of this? What did they actually do? Okay, then shift to, okay, now we know that these things are terrible for our bodies. We understand that the vaccines are, even just, let's take away all of the conversations that everyone doesn't want to have about what potentially could be coming from them. What we do know is that heavy metals are toxic to our bodies. Overloading
Right.
our systems is too difficult for even adults to handle, yet you're giving max dose amounts that even as an adult should be getting, but you're giving them to tiny little babies and hoping for the best. And
Right.
like there's like actual straight things that we could talk about that have nothing to do with feelings on if we should be doing vaccines or not. These are things that, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Hey, why don't we change the chemical compounds that are in vaccines and go back to the original formations of some of them and remove the toxic stuff out of them and be able to
Right.
do this as a one vaccine instead of having four vaccines clumped together and then shoving in not just that vaccine, but also doing two more on top of it, upwards of 8 vaccine types in one all at once into a tiny little body, is
Yeah.
not going to play
Right.
well. Like, we don't have to have
Especially
all the
a
SIDS
tiny
talk.
body that hasn't even had a chance to develop anything yet. I
Mhm.
mean, so Japan, for anyone who doesn't know, for the longest time, Japan said no vaccines for the first 2 years. And then after
Yep.
that, there's just a couple of basic ones they gave. And even proposing that idea will just like blow the top of some people's wig. Like they will
A
just
lot.
freak out.
And that's the thing. It's all been about divide and conquer. They got us squabbling
Right.
about these smaller issues so that we don't look to them to say, wait, why are you doing this to us unanimously?
Mhm.
And there used to be a time in this country where the politicians, I'm not going to say actually gave a fuck about us, right? But
Right.
in the original way that this country was ran, if you had two parties going up for president, whoever lost the election became the vice president. Right. And that
Right.
was, and it didn't matter that they had such crazy opposing views, because the goal was to push the ball forward, was the betterment of the country. And they could agree on that regardless of what their backgrounds were. Right. Cut to
Right.
the 1940s, 50s, even into the 60s, you would have politicians that would vote one way on a certain bill, and it'd be like, hey, listen, you vote this way on this bill and I'll back you on this next bill, regardless of what letter designation was by their name or regardless of what their funding looked like. It was about what was best for the country, what was best for the population. I would argue that pretty much stopped around, like, it started to really teeter with Kennedy, or after his assassination, I should say. By Nixon,
Right.
it was all out. No, fuck that. We're doing it this way. We're doing it that way, whatever. By the time it was Reagan, they realized, oh, dude, we can keep them internally fighting for forever and just collect checks on the back end and they will never notice. And
Right.
that's pretty much where we're at now.
Right. And it's kind of interesting because there was honor amongst men, or human.
Shit, the politicians used to duel.
Right.
Fucking right, there was honor. I like
Right.
that. I would love to see that come back, by the way. Or boxing. I also would love to see like
Mutual
politicians.
combat. I am
Yes.
all for it.
Yo, I
These-
want to see Nancy Pelosi and AOC just get their shit rocked.
I'm with you, but here's my deal. Here's
I'm
my deal.
fine.
If you're going to start, especially like, for instance, State of the Union address that just happened, Trump was giving his speech. And listen, if you like Trump, hate Trump, doesn't matter. Just hear me out for this. AOC and some other fat, I don't know what her name is, Hispanic bitch that was sitting next to her started screaming in the middle of it. At that point, okay, let's glove up. You're so upset by what's being said. You should be able to defend your point right here, right now. Could you imagine if politicians started straight up gloving up for their beliefs? Oh my God.
Right.
I'd be so here for it. The amount of money I would dump on that.
Oh God.
Right.
The betting would be legit, dude. FanDuel would go hard on that. But yeah, I'm just saying.
I definitely would want front row seats to that fucking ass beating. So
shit, there's a UFC fight happening at the White House. Why can't we just like up the ante a little bit? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit. And or bring back sword dueling and or single shot pistol dueling. I'm so here for this. But
see, here's my contention with all of this. I actually blame us, the citizens, for, and not us, but like the royal us, for not holding these public officials accountable. Exactly, like we are now in the result of just decade after decade of compromising, basically like, oh well, you know, I guess this one time isn't that bad, it's for a good reason or whatever, and just nothing ever changes. And there were consequences at one time for being a shitty person in public office, and now there's no repercussions at all. Like,
yeah,
I mean, if it even comes out, the slap on the wrist, you know, if that.
And it doesn't matter because you're just going to get pardoned anyway.
Right.
Even if you get convicted of something, it's cool. You got a guy at the top, you know.
Right. Kristi Noem just stole $250 million of taxpayer money, and all she did is get fired.
Kristi Noem. Good God, that bitch.
Right.
I could
shot a dog in the face.
Dude, after the goat. Like, what the fuck? I do like how South Park gave her the fucking her due on that. But yeah, it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat, y'all. If they get to the position on a national scale to be a name that you would recognize off the top like this, just assume that they're bought and paid for and a raging piece of shit. I don't think you can get to the top without being that, to be honest.
So personal experience, I can pretty much tell you that's exactly how it happens. So you have to make the donors happy, because the only way you're going to be able to get into office is to be able to have the money. It doesn't matter how many people you get up in front of. It doesn't matter how much publicity you get. It's all about the money. And what's interesting is the money that gets spent in a campaign doesn't really go to anything. It goes to like disposable like leaflets and signs and shit like that, but it's the appearance of like, oh, look at how well he was able to do. He was able to raise so much money, and for some reason that's important, you know.
It's all a tax haven. Honestly, that's all it really is. Oh, I donated, especially if it's like to a PAC of some type. There's no limit on what you can donate to a PAC. There are certain, depends on the state and depends on like what you're running for. There's limits on how much your war chest can have in it, or how much one person can donate to it. But you could donate $500 million to one of these PACs, and it does the same thing. It goes into an account that's basically a slush fund for whatever. And even if the politician you backed in this last election doesn't win, it just goes to the next guy, or it goes to this person. It gets dispersed evenly amongst like-minded politicians. It's all a revolving door of shitbaggery funding other shitbaggery.
Well, and now that money is considered to be freedom of speech, and corporations are legally considered to be an individual, the same as an individual. I mean, that's it.
That works for me.
Whatever.
Raven Lee and I are, technically speaking, we are business owners as well. We're S corps, so fucking come at us, man.
Right. So, I mean, it does kind of raise interesting questions, because now we kind of all have to play the game of Monopoly, right?
I do love me some Monopoly.
I do too. I'm a big fan.
Hey, Raven, real quick, who beat you last time?
First off, you wouldn't have.
Oh,
I don't feel like it. And I've already challenged you to another game. So
I mean, I'm down. To play it properly. it will take more than one day. It typically
I mean,
does.
we were rushing. There was a lot going on. But I will say you beat my ass in chess every time because I've never really played it. So like,
Oh, for the
yeah,
record, y'all, I am not good at chess. I know a thing or two.
I'm
Jonathan,
terrible.
believe it
I
or
haven't
not,
played.
Jonathan he is ridiculous at chess and smoke checks me every time I even attempt to play against him. So I'm
Interesting.
very mid at chess, you know?
I love
This
chess.
is my first time ever playing was last year. So I'm a work in progress. I bought a book that's how to win at chess because I'm competitive as shit. So I'm like, I need to get better at this.
I
So
mean, it's honestly it is the game in my opinion. Well, actually, there's two games, chess and Nine Men Morris. I don't know if you
what
guys have
is
ever heard
that?
of that.
I've heard of it, but I've
It's
never actually seen it played. It's like
it's
Go. I know it
kind
exists.
of,
I
yeah.
couldn't tell you the way it's played.
Nine
So
Men Morris?
yeah, so it's kind of like a mix. It's kind of like a checkers based game, but it's a more complicated as far as the moves that you can take, and the layout of the board is completely different than normal checkers. It's just all strategy, and just like chess, you've got to think several moves ahead and the potential moves of your opponent, and so it's just that level of strategy, and I'm a big fan, honestly.
Now I'm
So
gonna have to look it up. It actually sounds really fun.
it
Actually,
is.
we've been playing the Oregon Trail.
Yeah, dude. There's a
So
board game of Oregon Trail. It's fucking
That's
dope.
amazing.
yeah, because all the kids like to play with each other and stuff, and so then we get wrapped up into it. So it's like, oh damn it! All right.
So I
Although I
love
will say
Oregon Trail.
there's these calamity cards that you have to pull every turn because of course it's Oregon Trail. Something has to go
Right.
wrong. Believe it or not, there's like only 2 dysentery cards
I
That-
couldn't
out of the
believe that.
entire stack. It's not
That's
like the video
garbage.
game. Yeah,
Right.
right. But
I
there's
mean-
That's the
also
only
like
game we were allowed to like ever play. I remember we got to play it like once a month. We got to have a computer lab where we had 1 hour and we got to play it. I actually did really good on it eventually. It took me years, I'm not gonna lie. So, but I had like one good run one time.
Right.
So, but dysentery, damn it.
every
Or
time.
the fever, the yellow fever
Yep,
gets you.
yellow
Yeah.
fever.
Or you'd starve and the
every damn
bandits
time.
and the cold. Because so like when you get to so in places in Oregon, a lot of people don't know this, there's actual like you can go up into the mountain and they have sites that you can go to or you can find them yourself, but they have a lot of the trees that still have the rope marks all the way like down into them. Some of them actually still have the ropes
Wow.
like actually put into it because it's like there's this one place that's a zigzag almost down the mountain, and they tried to bring the wagons through it. That's what absolutely killed me. And this one specific spot that I went to, I'm like, why? There's so many other places that would have been better. They
Right.
lost almost all of their wagons. Well, no shit. It was literally like a zigzag down the thing, but it was rock faced almost that was in the forest. And it's really cool because we got to go out there and you got to make your own butter. You got to use like the old razors and shave your face. You
Right.
got to do all sorts of stuff. And so they don't do that here actually a lot of times in Louisiana. Like we have like a whole week where we go to camp and
Yeah.
we just learn all sorts of shit.
We have some similar stuff, but if you look at our history, it's more, at least what they teach us, is way more based in the plantations, right?
Right.
Which is where Louisiana made most of its money for the majority of our history. And then
Don't
it's always
ask who
tied.
owned those.
Oh no, like they teach us, 100%. The slave quarters are still up and open, and
Mhm.
like they'll show you all the things, and like
Well,
that's
do they
more
teach
of.
you, or do they teach you the actual truth? Because
I will say
bastardized
this.
history and
Growing up, they taught us a version of it. I will say that these days more than ever they lean into the actual facts. Like there's one plantation called Oak Alley not too far from here. They have the names of the slaves actually
Mhm.
on a wall to where it's like, no, y'all are going to acknowledge that enslaved human beings
Right.
lived here, worked here, and died here, and like this was not a good place. And like
right.
there is a level of pride of our state's history, but we also are very open to acknowledging the underbelly and the dark side of our state's history as well, which to be honest, I like that. And
Right.
that goes for all history, right? I have no problem
Oh,
acknowledging
hey, Mormon Mafia, okay?
shit. There you go.
Utah has Mountain Meadow Massacre, so I understand.
It's like it's the same as far as the Crusades and Christianity. Like, listen, it's not a crazy statement to say that Western society is based solely on Christianity. Like that's
I
a
mean,
accurate statement historically speaking.
if we have a second Crusades, I'm not upset.
But we also need to acknowledge the atrocities that were done
Yes.
in the name of some dude who thinks he had it right based off of a book that says don't kill your neighbor. But like, okay, fine.
Right.
We got to take the good with the bad if we're gonna be as justifiable as we can be. And I think that's
So
accurate.
you're a history guy, so
Yeah.
This is one thing that has always upset me because I'm also a huge history buff. Like I just love particularly military history and things like this.
Yeah.
There was just so much of history that we were never told, whether it was just due to time or like intentionally left out or whatever. But I mean, there's like, for instance, the slavery thing. It's just like almost everyone was a slave back then. Women, children, white, black, like it didn't really matter. Like everyone was just property back then.
When we say back then, we're talking what? Give me a century time frame here.
Well, let's see. So it'd be 19th century.
So we're talking about like the 1800s in America, you mean?
Right. So in a period when slavery was still even halfway socially acceptable. I mean, when people are indentured servants,
yeah,
it's a nicer term than farm equipment, but it's still the same thing. You can't run away. You're not getting paid.
There's some comparisons to be made between indentured servitude and slave. However, there is some very distinct differences between paying off a debt by working a farm for a few years versus chattel slavery that you're born into and that you will die in. These are also
if you ever get out of it, though. I mean, it's kind of like the coal town. So you would have the company towns in like West Virginia, right? You would work for the company. You'd never make enough to get out of the company.
There's examples where it was taken, like these people were truly taken advantage of, yes. But there's also examples of, okay, you got a person in Ireland that wants to come to America and they can't afford it. So they sell themselves into indentured servitude to pay off that debt. And after 10 years of working someplace, they were able to do so. But like they never received their first paycheck. All of that money went to pay that off. There's examples where these people actually worked off their debt. And there's examples where they basically were told, oh, yeah, you'll have it paid off in 10 years. 15 years later, it's like, oh, no. See, we had to take our cut for your food and your lodging and this and your tools and all this. And then before you know it, it's 30 years to maybe have it paid off. And then by that point, what are we talking about? So yes, I get that. But it's a lot different. Like, I don't believe there's many stories of indentured servants being hogtied and flogged. There's some, but
there's actually a lot more than you would think, because the Irish, for instance, was considered to be less than a dog. So,
yeah, but still somehow better than the African slaves. There was weird hierarchies to this.
Not in the North.
No, but I mean, even in the South, like it's crazy that even the poor whites did not want slavery to go away. And it's not because they believed in it. It's because that meant that something else was under them. And so that gave them some sort of a weird superiority complex. Even if they were just the top of the scum, at least they were at the top of something. And it's like, bro, what? Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, you can look at New York, like any foreigners, not just the Irish, the Polish, the Germans, the Jews, all of them were looked at like, yeah, you weren't born here. So fuck you. That was a whole thing for years.
It's totally just the fact that there was so much more about slavery. For instance, I mean, transatlantic slave trade, there were more slaves in Brazil than there ever were here.
Yes.
So there's just all of these bits and pieces. That's not to say that what happened here wasn't bad.
Right.
That's not to say that. It's just that there's a much broader picture, and the way in which, indentured servitude, slavery, the ownership of another human being in any way, shape, or form, unless it's, consensual. You can trade your labor, but you cannot own somebody's labor. And just the history of that is actually just so much more complicated and like colorful than we were ever taught,
No, I agree with that
like
100% too.
and it's not even
What's
just the bad stuff either. It's like for instance, like the South was actually offered to keep the slaves if they, decided to not succeed.
Yeah,
And
like Lincoln didn't give a fuck about freeing the slaves.
oh no, he was racist.
Absolutely.
Very
It was
racist.
crazy. The only reason he did was
Right.
because his wife finally annoyed him enough to say, fine, I'll fucking add it in. Like it,
Right.
but that's what I mean as far as history that we just knew for a fact this is how it was, and then we later find out through more digging, more research,
Right.
more open source information. The internet is one of these things where it's a double-edged sword, because while it has helped us spread so much good credible information, it has also helped propagate so much disinformation at the exact same time.
Oh yeah.
And that's another reason why I love talking about it, is that we can really look at things objectively as much as we can to find what actually took place. And then you could form your opinion about what happened once you have all the facts. But without all the facts, it's nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I completely agree. So the flow of information, because we're totally experiencing World War III right now. And what I mean by that is it's an information war. It is a war of psychological operations and propaganda. And I mean, I feel as though we've been in this for quite a while, actually, because I mean, there's such things like QAnon that exist, which is, in my opinion, clearly a government operation. But then there's also like information that disappears that, like, why did it even disappear? There's just like try searching the Internet Archive for some of the 9/11 news coverage. Nothing crazy about it, but it's just gone. It's just lost to history now, because every time the Internet Archive goes down, thousands of pages get scrubbed.
Yeah.
And it's just gone for no reason, It's just memory hold.
And then we get into the realm of dead internet theory, which
Right.
now more than ever I am starting to believe is more accurate. And what I mean by that, Brandon, everybody doesn't know. Google anything. It really doesn't matter. And you'll see that Google will have 80 different pages of certain, ready to go, and you could click on it. Click on like page 53 just for shits and giggles, and I bet it's empty. I'll bet it's blank. And that's the whole point. It's just to make it appear that they have way more information than they actually do, because the end of this rabbit hole, just like you're saying, information has just been erased, lost to time, files corrupted and taken down, and somebody said they'd put it back up later or fix it, and they never really did. And it's, before you know it, we're kind of cycling the same material over and over again without actually looking at, well, what is your source on that? And that's a whole other thing, dude. So many people are making a crazy ass claim. The sky is red, just throwing out some stupid shit.
Right.
And they don't show their source. They'll just talk about it. But some person will use that as a source and act like that's credible information. Some other person will source that source, and then this person will use it. And before you know it, these 5 content creators are sourcing each other for bullshit information that's not based in any kind of facts. But, they're all sourced. They show their receipts. Yo, how credible is the fucking receipt, though?
Right.
It's mind-blowing.
Right. This is one thing people should always keep an eye out for. If you go to any website or any source and the source is themselves, like that's a red flag immediately. Like, that hyperlink links back to another article, and then it links back to them and them again and them again. Like, happens a lot.
Unless they actually are the subject matter expert in that, and by that I don't mean because the internet said so.
Right.
I mean,
no, it's got to go back to primary source eventually.
Right. Yeah. And if you happen to have that primary source as like a guest on your show or something, okay,
Right.
I'm listening. And I might disagree with some of the stuff that they're talking about, but at least they could speak intelligently enough to refute what I'm saying or
Right.
something along these lines. But it's a wild time to be alive, dude, honestly.
Yeah, it really, really is. So one thing I wanted to bring up with both of you, I'm sure both of you have seen this, but it's the conspiracy chart.
Oh,
So,
wow. I've never seen this one, but okay.
well, it's this one.
Okay.
So it made
There it is.
yep. Yeah, it made the rounds for a while, but to me, I just found this so condescending. So grounded in reality is where it starts, which
Already
okay,
off to a bad start, but all right.
right? So things that actually happened and like they like begrudgingly have to admit these things because it's just so overwhelmingly proven and documented. Leaving reality, we have questions like
Wait. Hold on. The JFK assassination absolutely happened. The Iran-Contra affair absolutely happened.
yep,
Jimmy Hoffa disappearance. Like, wait, what are they saying here? These things are also very fact-checked and documented.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they combine it though with different things like UFOs and Epstein didn't kill himself and Denver International Airport. We live in a simulation. It's like
Which,
I wouldn't
again,
categorize all those things as the same.
nah, not even at all. And also UFOs confirmed to be a thing. Look at all the
Right.
big congressional conversations they've had. Holy fuck.
Right.
The Denver International Airport. That's not even a conspiracy. That there's some fuckery going on those grounds. Period.
Everyone
Right.
knows this.
Right. All
Not
right.
something hidden either.
That's
So it gets even worse. This is,
Oh, God.
Tupac alive in Serbia. Prince Charles is a vampire.
wait a minute. Stevie Wonder isn't blind. First of all, he's not. There's too many videos of him catching shit as
Yep.
it's falling. I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. No. I totally believe that one.
Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. Yo, I just heard about this one not too long ago. That's fucking funny. I like it.
It is funny. And it's weird though. So that's actually something I did want to ask both of you about. So that one is interesting, right? Because Ted Cruz is obviously too young to be the Zodiac killer.
Right.
However, I mean, there still are people out there that push it as if it is true. It's almost like the level of irony has reached a tipping point to where it's almost like ironic in and of itself. And so it's like a positive feedback loop. So where do you think these sorts of things come from? Because they're not quite disinformation, but they're almost like a meme that spirals out of control or something.
Yeah. I mean, with the Zodiac killer, I thought they had confirmed that it was actually the Unabomber and the Zodiac killer were the same person. A lot of their handwriting lined up. They were around the same locations at the same time. I thought that was confirmed by investigatory. I think I made up a word. Fuck it, we're running with it. I thought that had been pretty much confirmed, but I could be wrong. But there's so many. What's
Right.
Raven? Help me out here. What's that country singer that is a serial killer?
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks is a
Right.
obvious fucking serial killer, right? Obviously. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
now, do I know this for a fact? No. It was started as a bit that a comedian ran with. Then
Tom
more and more
Segura.
things. Tom Segura, which I fucking
Yep.
love him, but they fact check so many things that he said, and it's like, okay, actually, that's kind of crazy, but also not untrue statements being made about some.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some very, very strange coincidences, and I don't know about you two, but I am a anti-coincidence source. I'm an anti-coincidence channel. So
Yeah, but that's my point though, right? And let's
Right.
say Garth
I'm gonna
Brooks
be bummed
isn't.
out. I love Garth Brooks, so
I get it.
I mean, he is the top-selling country artist of all time, and it's the perfect cover.
Yeah, right? It's
Yeah.
all
So-
part of the plan.
Well, a lot
Right.
of people are like, well, what if it's one of his band members that tours with
One
him
of the
all the time?
roadies, whatever. No.
It's Trisha,
No.
man. It's Trisha. She be out there slaying bodies. That's what it is. She's out there killing him and he's just covering it up.
Could be. But I
Right.
mean that's my point though, right? So this is a thing that somebody put together based in is it based in fact or is it based in circumstantial evidence? I honestly can't tell you one way or another, but it gets put to the internet and it gets added to the lore to the point to where
Right.
now, give it another 10 years, people are going to realistically be doing whole deep dives into this. There's going to be podcasters or YouTubers in the future that are doing real deep dives as this is beyond any shadow of any doubt. And it's like, maybe not. It's the same thing with the Ted Cruz being the Zodiac killer.
Right.
Some content creator put some things together and just kind of threw it out there. And now there's a whole line of people that believe that that's accurate when, like you said, clearly the years don't line up, but
Right.
sure, it's entertainment. So I guess run it. I don't
Right.
know.
Now, this one, Avril Lavigne replaced. I'll tell you, I didn't believe it
100%.
when I first heard it.
100%.
I'm on the bandwagon now.
Yeah.
She 100% was replaced.
Yeah.
I
It's not
believe
the
it
same
was.
person. It is
It's
not
not.
the same person.
Nope.
So
It is not.
I gotta say, cloning has been a thing for quite some time, y'all. Do with that
Right.
information what you want.
now this is like, I can't remember who put this together. I do love this though. The anti-Semitic point of no return.
Oh my God, these people,
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
The journalist that put this together, I mean, she is a very clueless Operation Mockingbird type journalist. I mean, just
Clearly.
does as she's told, which is just the worst.
Mm.
I mean, because as you can see, like some of these things are all definitely mixed in with, like, Biden is a robot. That's definitely not the same as COVID is a bioweapon or 5G is toxic or chemtrails or any of this stuff.
Or the Wayfair trafficking, which, dude, we did a
Right.
deep dive on. That was confirmed. Now, the Epstein files absolutely confirmed it even deeper, but Jonathan and I actually looked up one of these item numbers that was allegedly some kind of weird thing on Wayfair. We did an episode on this
Right.
was years ago. Dude, we searched it up. It was Russian children on the Wayfair website. And it wasn't like, everybody was, all the kids are clothed and all the stuff, but this was understood to where, like, you're not buying something from Wayfair for $10,000. And whenever
Right.
you typed it in, this came up and it was the pictures of the actual children in
Yeah.
a box. And it
Did-
was,
Did you see the Wayfair's excuse for that? That if you do not choose a specific price, then it automatically sets its own price due to the website programming.
it was
It's
fucking
there's a
insane, dude.
default price.
Default price on children, not on a
Mhm,
piece of furniture, not on throw pillows.
No,
Although it was
it's
listed as
just a
like a
painting of a
curtain.
child holding a slice of pizza. That's it. And
Bro.
it just costs $15,000.
Fucking insane. And so, yeah, that's
Right.
not even a hypothetical, but to the point of the whole anti-Semitic point of no return, dude. Oh, man, this I don't understand this,
So-
honestly. Listen, if you're gonna be critical of Netanyahu, I get you, and fine,
Right.
all the things. You're gonna be critical of the Israeli government and Mossad, with you 100%. We can have these conversations, but there seems to be a growing trend within the conspiracy community these days of people that read Europa and think that actually, Hitler was the good guy trying to save the world
Yeah.
from the Jews. And it's like, wait, pause, stop. It's time for you to go outside and touch some grass and take a breath because you're going
Right.
deep in the wrong direction. It's the same with the flat earth community. Now, I'm not shitting on them, but there is two solid camps as far as the flat earthers are concerned. There's groups that are flat earthers because some sort of religious text that they get down with tells them that the earth is flat, and fine. And then there's the others that are 3 questions away from saying that Hitler was the good guy. And there's
Right.
like very few in between on that one. And it's fucking wild.
I mean, the whole, so I personally believe the whole Hitler was the good guy is definitely a psyop, and it's so believable because of how hard, like, everyone throughout history pushed how bad he was, right? So it's like,
Right.
oh, they lied about everything, so obviously they lied about that, but that's, in my opinion, the trap, right?
Mhm.
Like, I don't believe he was what they tell us he was, but I don't think he was a good guy. You know?
No, not even a
Like,
little bit, dude. I
you
mean,
know,
but
like,
that's the thing. Even in his whole talking points about the Jews and how evil they are, and then we see these people
right,
bring up these crazy excerpts from the Talmud, and they're like, "See, they're talking about this and how you could rape somebody, and how Jesus is boiling in his own excrement, and all of these things." And it's like, y'all are taking this completely out of context. And I'm not saying there's a context in which these things are acceptable. I'm saying they're speaking on this without realizing how the Talmud is written. Just because it's in the book doesn't mean it's something that they apply to their religious beliefs. It's a conversation.
right.
Every book of every page of the Talmud. Time, man, what year was
Yeah.
it? No, shockingly, I know. But
Oh, that's a
for
good
those
one.
that don't know, the Talmud is written basically like a legal conversation on a long list of issues that they found themselves in. So you'll have the main point at the center of the page, and then you'll have a bunch of notes around it from basically how the conversation went the day that they were deciding on how this is going to be applied to the book. And they'll have these little short quips from one of these conversations that isn't a thing that they're trying to apply. It's more like a open source debate, and they'll take
Right.
one side of that debate and act like, see, the Jews believe this, and it's like, bro, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about, obviously. But sure.
Right. I mean, yeah, I mean, so also as a Christian myself, you know, the the J question is, I don't know, it's clearly like blown out of proportion.
Mhm.
I do wholeheartedly reject Christian Zionism.
I mean,
These are opposing ideas, you know.
well, when you say
Um,
Zionism, do you believe, are you talking about just that the nation state of Israel should exist? Or do you mean the ones that are saying that God's chosen people and all these things, and we should give them?
Christians have a religious duty to serve Jews and
No.
to, like, you know, make sure that Jews are like everything. Like, it's purely just ethnic superiority, and
Yeah, no.
I don't give a shit who it is. I'm not down with that.
No,
Um,
I'm
and
cool with
also
Israel being a
they're just
thing.
they're opposing ideas. Um, you know,
Yeah.
it's just Christian and Zion, or like Judeo-Christian is not a thing. It's like dry water, you know? And there's nothing wrong
Oh
with
shit.
that. It's
Easy now. The
just
internet said the water's not wet a couple years ago. Calm down with all that.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
funny. But it's clearly blown out of proportion, but I think that this is that fifth generation warfare, right?
yeah.
This is kind of, Raven, like what you were talking about with a lot of this information control, a lot of the data being collected, so they know how to push people.
I think that was the biggest thing when you brought that up earlier about talking about how we're in World War III and stuff. I think that it really boils down to data collection. And
Right.
why I believe this is because data collection is key right now. And it has been actually, though, for decades. If
Right.
people understand so many of the scientific things that have been done to us and the experiments and everything else, it's all about data collection, including
Mhm.
social including
Yeah,
social
there we
oh,
go.
you good?
Yeah, we're good.
Including social experiments and everything.
Right.
Everything was for the data, because you have to understand they can't have the supercomputer AIs without the data. They
Right.
cannot integrate us and have transhumanism with AIs and robots without the data. They need the data to be able to form, to be able to push them into a point to where they might gain their own sentience. And they have to have the data first, though. And
Right.
so I believe that everything right now is a data collection pool. That's all they've been doing. That's all they've
Mhm.
wanted for the last couple decades, anyways. I mean, hell, let's be really honest. Probably for hundreds of years, because they've always been about collecting data, writing it down, passing that research on to the next person. That next person is going to start collecting their own data, and it goes and goes and goes, and it's all about the
Right.
data. And so we've gotten to the point where we've had so much data collected. Now we're going to start moving into the next phase. And yeah, we're in a war right now with Iran, but it's not, that's just like a, that's like the whipped cream on top, right? That's like the little cherry
Right.
on top. It's all the other stuff in the bottom that we're need to be more concerned about. So
Right.
that's at least in my opinion.
Right. And now my personal opinion is that the goal is, the new world order.
Right.
Like they definitely want a one world government, a one world banking system, one world economy. I mean, it still might look, it's kind of like the EU. Obviously, Europe is one gigantic government now, even
Yeah.
though there's still France and Spain and Germany and whatever. So it's most likely going to look that way. But I don't wholeheartedly believe that they want to exterminate all of us. I think that they want us to think that to cause us trauma and stress. Not saying that they're going to take care of us or that
I think they
they're
wanna
not going to
reduce the
not kill some of
population.
us. But I don't think because some of these people will go and be like, oh, they're going to exterminate 9/10 of the population. It's like, no. They're going to use us.
Yeah.
They need us. They need us to be breeders. They need us. And
Right.
especially if this conversation is true about different types of alien groups not being able to reproduce, and they're going to need that anyways. They're also going to need manpower of some type. Like, yes, the aliens will be able to, the AI will be able to do a lot, but we still are needed in some capacities. So
Yeah.
Right.
they're not going to get rid of all of us, no, but they are going to limit how many of us there are and put us in controlled environments, i.e., 15-minute cities, and be able to
100%.
monitor everything that we're doing and be able to shut it down. If they want to exterminate an entire city and nobody else can really pass between the cities, and they can cut off all internet access and everything else.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to wipe one out and be like, oh no, some tragedy, this plant went up
Right.
and killed everybody. Oh, but it's all about the controlled narrative, and what they're going to want us for is
Right.
the real question here.
See, this
I
is
agree.
why I always go back to mind control, though. And this is why I decided to focus on mind control or behavior modification, because it seems to be that this is a central point to everything. It has to be a part of everything. It might not be the focus, but it's mandatory for all of this to work at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do
No, I
agree.
100% agree. And that's, again, that goes back to the divide, right? The
Right.
divide and conquer, the Hegelian dialect of the problem, reaction, solution, and
Right.
controlling the mob. And instead of getting a person on an individual level to have them think logically through a problem or a situation, you get the entire population, the mob, to get panicky over a small thing that gets blown up into a big thing. And
Right.
it's pit bull tactics, honestly. And it's been very effective against not just the Americans, but the world population for, ever.
Oh, yeah. Right. I mean, we saw that with COVID, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just how quick that happened.
Yeah. As much as people want to think that, oh, well, we're smarter now than the people were back in ancient Rome, and we're more critical thinking and all these things. 86% of Americans got the first jab. And say what you want about the first jab. These people were afraid they were going to go back, not be able to go back to work, whatever. Fine. They were given bad information. 64% got at least one, if not multiple boosters. So no, we legitimately have a population of people that if the government was to say that the only way of preventing some new plague that's about to hit us or something is for you to walk around with a butt plug, I promise you that at least 86% of adults would start doing so. But they wouldn't lie to us. It's a real plague. Shut the dude. Stop.
I mean, do you guys remember on the news when they had the death ticker
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I
Yeah.
reminisce sometimes about the pandemic, and holy shit, I can't believe like people actually like I don't know, it's
Hook,
really hard to
line, and sinker
fathom.
bought it.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was good propaganda. It was great propaganda,
Oh, they
you
had their
know.
story straight. They had their model,
Yep.
but that's the thing though. They had already ran the models at the last war games
Right.
situation. They had ran all the models to see how they could play it out. They needed a real world experiment for the data. They needed
Right.
this to be able to collect the data to move forward with what they need.
Right.
And
It was like a
I
dry
mean,
run.
oh yeah, this was a
Yeah.
test run. This was, and that's what I kept telling people when we were in it. I was like, you do, like, just remove your emotions from this and look at it from a scientific point of view. You are doing so now. You've created your hypothesis. Now it's time to start testing things. This is our first initial wave of testing. Now they need to see how is it going to play out. What components are going to work? What is not going to work? What narratives will be believed? What won't be believed? How will people respond? Can we get them into a feverish state of, okay, now we want to pretty much genocide people that aren't taking the vaccine? Because that's the thing. They were on the seventh step of the 10 of the
Right.
genocide conversation when it comes to the unvaccinated versus the vaccinated. And you can read it and you can understand that, but people could not fathom that this is what's actually going on. Because why would they do such a thing? And it's like, did you never do any science experiments as a kid in school? Like,
Right.
this is what this is happening. But then I'm down here in Louisiana, and my mom and my family are up there in Oregon, and we would put the news on at the same time and we would watch what was being said. It was completely different. And they were force feeding the narratives in Oregon that were just like hyper fixating on fear. And it was just like, you can't do anything. We're all going to die and all this stuff. Meanwhile,
Right.
Louisiana was reporting on it, but was not being to the same extreme as Oregon was. And people still bought it though. I mean, I still have friends to this day that we are no longer friends because of the pandemic, because I refused to bend the knee when it came to this stuff. And I'm like, why would I do that? Look at it.
Right.
Use your common sense. Ask
Mm,
why are they doing this? Look at what's happening. It was a playbook. It was like it was like a big science experiment when you were like in seventh grade. If you just really broke it
Right.
down, you could see exactly what they did. And it's like, come on, man. Like, yes, I have friends that actually have long COVID. One of them still can barely speak. Like, people did get really sick. People died from this. But we
Hmm.
found out from Nurse Nicole when she was on the front line what they were giving people and how that impacted them. And we've talked to the guy that we spoke to last night, Mr. Finnegan, about the bioweapons when it comes to all the stuff that has been happening here in America that came from Nazi Germany. And just there's so many components that played into the perfect storm of the pandemic
Right.
and what happened.
this conversation is why we got kicked off of YouTube in 2020. Just so we're all on the same page here, this is why we aren't welcome on YouTube anymore, because we were just asking very basic questions. And it's not, I'm not trying to take the whole, I'm just asking questions. No. Like, thinking critically about the
Right.
situation that we as a world, as a society of human beings, have found ourselves in.
Right.
Bringing up some very decent common sense questions is why YouTube decided they do not fuck with the cult of conspiracy.
Right. Well, this is why I started my show, is because I mean, I'm sure you guys remember how under attack freedom of speech was. Like,
Shit
I
still is, honestly.
yeah, it's gotten better here and there, and it comes in waves, but it's never gone back to what it was. You
Yep.
know,
Mhm.
it's been worse since 9/11. It was, it's just progressively gotten worse ever since then. I mean, it wasn't super great before then, but everyone was a lot more lax in the 90s, but whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was so blatant. Like, I had to do something. And this was the first thing I could think of. It's just like, I'm willing to, get banned. I'm willing to say the things that nobody else wants to say. I'm willing to read the information. And well, here I am. But
Yeah.
I mean, it really was like a genuinely scary time though, because there was, I mean, talk of people getting rounded up for just having an opinion, you know?
They did in Aussie land,
Right.
Australia. They rounded them up. They took them to those camps.
Yep,
They
exactly.
took them to real camps. Like that's the thing. Like it's a real thing that was happening, and they were definitely slow rolling the genocidal kind of thing, but it was seeing how many steps they could get, how far
Right.
they could push. Because Rwanda has been heavily studied, and they still actually go in and have conversations with the people that were arrested that partook in the genocide. They also have a constant conversation with people that survived it, and they really wanted to find what caused people to listen to it, what caused people to actually go through with it, how they were able to be brainwashed, how long did it take for them to be brainwashed, and then start to use the real world application to see what would happen here in America and obviously globally. Who were more easily tricked? Who were more susceptible to believing the government and going along with it instead of actually being like, hey, so we don't agree with you putting people in camps because they don't want a vaccine when it's their body and
Yeah.
their rights. Because that's the big conversation that people don't like to have is, you on one hand people scream for my body my choice and
Yep.
having autonomy rights, but then when it comes to having autonomy rights for other things, we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, the
So,
liberals
and
kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one.
but it's
Yeah.
it that conversation goes with both parties. Like it is a both party kind of a
Oh,
conversation.
yeah, it is.
So
It
you
is 'cause
can't scream on one side that you can't do X, Y, and Z and then expect that in return, and vice versa with the other side. This is one of those talks that makes people uncomfortable, because it is if it is our choice to put in things in our body or do things to our body, then it should be a blanket choice, not just a pick and choosy kind of a situation. But
well,
most people don't feel that way.
that's how lawfare has to work though. It has to be all or nothing, because you can't, I mean, here's the problem, like, because not everyone's the same, not every situation is the same. So some
Mhm,
things do have to be taken on a case by case basis. This is why
mhm,
case law exists. But as a general rule, common law is going to have to be common for everyone and apply
mhm.
equally across the board. You know, I mean, that's literally how it has to work, which is just why it's better to just not have a law to begin with, you know, because then we don't have to worry about it. It's like, hey, it's nobody's business what I choose to put or not put into my body, because it's my body. And at the very least, I should be able to own my body. Now, I might not
Sure.
be able to own anything else, but I should be able to own my body.
But like you said earlier, you're an anarchist, and
Oh, yeah.
as a philosophy, I could understand it and even agree with it to a point. But there's no way that we could ever, and by we I mean human beings, could operate in some sort of an anarchist society. Look at a Walmart parking lot as an example of why people can't self-govern.
Oh,
Look at how
yeah.
many
No,
people
I
actually
know
bring the
shopping
shopping
cart
carts.
theory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's and that's a microcosm, but you could put that to the grand scale.
Right.
There's some people that can absolutely govern themselves, and they don't need to be told what's right or wrong because they have morals and ethics deep within them, and they're going to be fine regardless. The laws are in place for all of the other dumbasses that don't do what they're supposed to do.
Right. Well, and here's a common misconception. Anarchy is actually the not the destruction of a hierarchy, because hierarchies exist naturally.
Mhm.
Anarchy in and of itself is the rejection of a unnatural hierarchy, which is what government is.
Okay.
So there are certain things like, for instance, a draft, like a war draft, that's
Mhm.
unethical, period. Like it just is. Getting sent off to a foreign country when that country did nothing to this country, like it's one thing if your country gets attacked, it's, you know, that's a different discussion. But
But that's how it's been
like,
done throughout the course of human history. Armies
Right.
were not, it wasn't because they attacked
Doesn't
us
change the
first.
fact of the ethics, though. Because what is true is always true, regardless of what the precedent is. So just because things happen a certain way doesn't mean that it's right. And this is, the human nature, because we are fallible, which is why we
That's
always
fair.
have to work towards something. And also, anarchy is the natural state of things, which is why government is such it's such a monster, because it goes against the natural state of things. So anarchy is natural law, whereas in government is just, well, shit and tyranny.
But with that being said, as far as natural law goes, and I hear what you're saying, I really
Right.
do. So are we talking about survival of the fittest? Are we talking about basically feral
No.
humans?
No. Because I mean, this is where we start getting into body autonomy, right? Because your rights end where mine begin. So,
Okay.
so
But that's all for the that's all for the pretense that there's morals that say I'll stop at this point and you'll stop at this point.
That's where
all the
self-defense comes in.
See, yeah, and at that point, it's a weird spiral. I'm not the
really.
biggest fan of government.
Self-defense is moral, always, because
Right.
that's reactionary. Whereas in the initiation of the use of force unjustifiably is the immoral action. Because if I
Right.
just come up and pop you in the mouth, I mean, that's
But
I violated your
point.
body autonomy.
But that's my point. So now we get into the conversation of what is justifiable force. You popping me in the mouth, do I have the right to pull a knife on you if I felt like my life was truly threatened?
Equal force to be able to stop it.
But
Now,
equal force isn't always equal. A 250-pound dude versus a 120-pound woman, a punch in the face is not going to equal the same. So that's what I'm saying. There has to be
right. But that doesn't mean that the system we live under now is perfect either.
Oh,
So
no.
I can make the same arguments.
Sure.
See, because this is what we call the warlord fallacy, right? Because if we live in anarchy, then warlords are just going to take over, as opposed to what we're living with now. Like
oligarchs versus warlords. One's a little more violent, one's a little more bureaucratic, but I see what you're going
right.
with.
I mean,
sure.
it's just that in a anarchical system, and I'm not saying it's perfect, because it would never be. Perfection is out of the realm of existence. It's just that there's a certain level of respectability for each human life as human life. Whereas it's very clear that the people in charge of us now could give two shits less. And in fact, they do the opposite of where they actually hate us.
Dude, and that's also a very Western American almost concept. Like so many countries around the world do not give a fuck about human life. Like it doesn't mean anything to them. Like, oh my God, you just killed this person. And like, so what? And what happens if you die? Well, okay. And like, that's a pretense all over Africa, all over the Middle East, all over Asia, all over certain parts of Europe. Even it's just like, and so what? There's no value on human life. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and especially specific cultures, some are worse than others.
But, for sure.
But so, like, as an anarchist, like, at least my idea, it's never going to be pure anarchy, because you can't have pure natural law. But what it actually is in practice is always striving to keep that balance, right? So this is what I was talking about. It's our responsibility to hold our public officials accountable, right? It's their job to be the public official and make these decisions and everything, but it's our responsibility to reel them back in, so to speak.
They work for us. We have to remind them of that sometimes. Absolutely.
Exactly. If they get caught stealing money, or if they get caught in a sex scandal, maybe they don't keep their job.
Chop their hands off.
Right. Like, not opposed.
I'm just kidding.
No, hey,
I'm not opposed.
It's a crazy concept here, but like,
take it back in the day.
I'm good with public punishment as well. I'm good with that kind of shit being on national news. Let's go.
Dude, public humiliation works.
Absolutely. And I mean,
Shame.
even in America, the public shaming can happen, but it's crazy because America is one of the only countries where, regardless of what you did, you get a second act. Unless you're a pedophile, then fuck you. But like, there's
100%.
there's levels to this. Like, oh, this dude embezzled $1 billion from this company, but give him about 15 years, he can rebrand himself and get a second act, and maybe if he does his things right, actually get seen in the public eye in a positive way.
Right.
There's not many countries where you get that opportunity. And I'm not just saying just the West, like hell, all over Europe, you get caught in some sort of a scandal like that, you're fucked. There is no second chance. Your kids are going to be marred by this. Your grandchildren might be. In America, in one generation, you can go from the lowest levels of poverty to the top wealthiest 1% if you have a little bit of luck and the right business acumen.
Right.
The same could be said for your brand. The same could be said for some crazy decisions that you made once upon a time. I mean, I understand it's not a perfect system, and I understand America's not a perfect country,
100%.
But
we're still the best.
We still are the best by a fucking long shot, dude. That's for sure.
100%. 100%. I agree with that wholeheartedly, because we at least have the chance.
Yeah. You have the opportunity, and it's you can squander that opportunity. You absolutely can. And so many Americans do. That's why all of these people from foreign countries, specifically Southeast Asia and India and Pakistan, when they get to America and they see, they breathe the free air, if you will, their first order of business is to go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go be something that is making crazy money.
Their ass off.
Work their fucking ass off, or start a chain of gas stations and be a really successful business owner and all this. And it's like, well, why are they the ones that are doing these jobs? Because they saw the opportunity and they grabbed the bull by the fucking horns and said, yeah, I'm not going back to where I came from. We're making the most out of this shit.
Yeah, it's because Americans haven't had to really struggle.
No,
the air of entitlement is very strong.
Yes. I've told this story so many times, dude. When I was in the Marines, when I was in DC, there was a dude in the Army, and we worked a lot on some joint operations sometimes. Your boy was born in Nigeria, and he won the lottery. What the lottery is in Nigeria is a 6-year work visa to the United States. There was no money associated with this. I think maybe he got his travel paid for. I can't tell you, but it was a 6-year work visa to the United States. First thing he did when he got here was join the fucking Army infantry, because that's all he could join, because he had no training in anything else from back home. His ASVAB score is relatively low. Exactly. So he joins the Army infantry, gains his citizenship, gets his wife and his children in America, and bro, that dude bleeds red, white, and blue. Ain't no fucking way he's going back to Nigeria. And this is the whole genocide that's going on there. Like, this was back in 2011 when I first met him. He's like, oh no, I'm an American, dude, and I will be to the day I die. And I'm like, that's the American fucking dream, dude. I love it.
I completely agree, which is why I still consider myself a patriot. Like,
sure.
I cannot stand the people in charge of our system and what they've turned it into, but I still wholeheartedly believe in the American dream.
You can be a patriot and hate the government. Like, these two
that's
things
the
can
most
be
patriot thing.
right. No doubt. Hell, our whole country was founded on that shit.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. And it's the subjugation, the unjustified subjugation of people. And I mean, there's nothing worse than tyranny. There really isn't.
Right.
So
absolutely agreed.
One thing I had a question for both of you is, where do you guys draw the line? Because obviously you guys cover every conspiracy. Nothing you guys won't touch. But for you personally, both of you personally, where is like the thing you're like, no, I don't believe it?
Raven?
We both agreed that we won't really go into the Holocaust denier situation. That's just something that we're not going to do as a group, as a company.
Fair enough.
We there's a lot of conversation people have around Hitler and the Jews and the Holocaust and everything like that, and it's one of those that we just won't really go into. We just don't personally feel like we want to.
Right.
So
and also I said earlier they read Europa. I meant watched. My bad. I misspoke. But yeah, that it's not good for business, regardless of whether you believe that the numbers are wrong with the Holocaust or not.
Right.
Dude, I have done the deep dive into it, and it's not worth talking about. Honestly, it's
Right.
these people are just regurgitating information that they found from somebody, and then whenever they find what that source is, it's like it never goes well. Honestly,
Right.
so yeah, that's
Yeah, we don't particularly want to dive into that.
Right. I mean, that makes sense though. That's just smart.
that.
I
And
don't
oh, go Raven.
no, what else is there?
I was gonna say I don't really get down with the whole sovereign citizen gambit.
Mm.
We've tried having a few people on the show, and some of them more educated than others. I'll be honest with you, and
Right.
it's not like I hate these people, but when you go back far enough into where the whole soft sit conversation really started, there's no way around it. It's only based from white supremacy. And I
Right.
wasn't happy to find that out, because I genuinely thought these dudes were on something here. Like, oh, so y'all found a loophole in the law, and I'm all about exploiting some loopholes, dude. I mean, fuck, if the government can do it, why can't we? And like all these things,
Right.
all these things. But the more I was about to do an episode on it, and there is no way, dude, I did like a whole 2 weeks of research into this. There's no way to remove it from the situation. And certain African American groups took some of this literature and applied it to themselves and tried
Right.
making, the Moroccan soft sit conversation, which is that's asinine in and of itself. But
Right.
there's no way of removing the sovereign citizen thing from white supremacy. And then even when you get to their ethos, so you want all the benefits of living the American life without paying into the American system. And it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too on this one. I'm sorry.
Right.
And it's
Right.
so it's not like that's a line that we won't cross. It's just one of those things that it's not worth your time to talk to somebody about, because they're going to spit some legal jargon at you as they shit on the lawyers speaking legalese. And then they come
Right.
at you with legalese to try to justify their vantage point. It's like, all right, dude, clearly you don't understand how the English language works. So I know for a fact you don't know how Black's Law Dictionary works. I'm sorry.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I don't think there's really I mean, I guess I don't really can't think of anything else that we really won't touch. I mean, there is specific topics that are more hot button trigger topics
Right.
that we don't necessarily go into often
I
and
think you
stuff. I
guys just
mean,
hit the two like top.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
I mean, well, we've I think one of the first times I ever came on the podcast, we had a healthy debate about abortions. Um, it's not something we frequently talk about because we have opposing views on it, which like it's not a big deal
Right.
to have opposing views. And that's a common one that people want to talk about. I
That's
don't
the
really
worst
see
fucking debate ever, honestly.
I don't I have my views, he has his views. We've
Right.
had multiple conversations. People kind of like try to word stuff in. I guess the biggest thing is when we have so far since I've been doing it, having people have very misogynistic viewpoints and be very sexist towards any female in this content space is something that we've had quite a bit of since I've joined the pod, and so that's been kind of
Yeah, that's weird to me.
yeah, it's not just me that said it though. That's been every female content creator that we've spoken to
Yeah.
also has been going through similar things. So when we have guests on that or their audience that decides that they're going to go down that route, we don't really
Right.
participate much in that. And so that's it. I mean, that's about all. I mean, there's not really a lot of topics. There's some topics that you won't hear me like debate about people. I have a lot more strong opinions. It's just I try very hard not to show my pure bias in a lot of things. I am very
Right.
opinionated when it comes to stuff, and a lot of people constantly are saying that, Jacob is always sharing his opinions and this and that. And it's like, there's some things that I'm just going to withhold my opinions on. I personally, for me,
Fair.
I'd rather deal in facts and statistics and science than telling you, like, this is what I think you should believe. No, you can
Right.
believe whatever the hell you want to believe. If you want to believe the sky is purple and it's shitting out hamburgers, well, go ahead. Like, it's not going to bother me. I'm not going to lose sleep over your opinion. Um, So like that for me, that's how I kind of approach a lot of things. I will share my opinion when I want to. When I don't, I just am like, well, here's what we have. So like do with this information what you want. So
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at with stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, specifically like with the, two issues you guys brought up, the Holocaust denial and, uh, you know, uh, sovereign citizens. Obviously, I have my opinion on these, but it's just not something I'm going to share. It's not a. There are very few people I would have these conversations with.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one thing I will say though, in defense of the sovereign citizen, there's a big difference between a state national and a sovereign citizen.
That's
And
fair.
I'm not saying that it's perfect or whatever, because once again, nothing is, but it's very hairline differences. However, there are differences. Maybe people would disagree with that, but kind of like the whole Israel thing, I've stayed out of the whole Israel thing. I have very strong opinions about it personally. I'll tell you this, I'm not going to war, but
No.
I'm just anti-war, but there's just different issues that I definitely have an opinion on them, but I'm not going to bring it up. But the one conspiracy I cannot accept is flat Earth. I just can't accept it.
Yeah, so me and you are on the same page, brother. We might differ on our opinion on war, but we are on the same page with the flat Earth conversation.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
That's funny.
I just the sheer ability for them to have to like maintain this Truman Show like structure.
Yeah.
Like the maintenance bill alone would be fucking insane. So I just can't, like, the logistics of it is impossible.
I just don't particularly care. I'm going to be really frank. I'm going to be really like, normally I won't say this, but you know what? Here we are. I actually don't give a shit. I'm really
actually
don't.
there too.
Like,
It doesn't
I'm
affect
like, you
me.
know what? If you want to believe that it's flat Earth, cool. Look, I'll listen to it all day. I mean, I don't mind listening to people and their viewpoints. I mean, the whole Earth map where it's all flat and all the little universes, their own little islands. Hey, that's totally cool. Some of my best friends believe in flat Earth, and I'm like, you do you.
Right.
Like we can disagree, and that's okay. Like it's not a big deal. I don't really care, but man, Jacob can't deal with the flat Earth stuff. Like
It's not okay. It's not that I can't deal. It's that I have had so many, and this is before you became a co-host on this show.
Yeah, you've had
so many flat earthers have come on the show to try to like debate me on some things, some very famous ones, some not so famous ones, all the way through. I have met two in my entire time of podcasting that can state their beliefs without talking at you about it. Just not taking a defensive posture when we just started 30 seconds ago, bro. No one's coming at you at this moment, but it's like they don't know how to talk about it without being angry. And it's like, all right, so if that's just how we're going to do this, then cool. Let me introduce you to, physics and math. Aside from, well, what about this map? What about this explorer? What about this lost diary that was never actually published, but we know it's real because I saw it on the internet one time? Okay, bro, let's start at the top. Here we go. We got time. I got time for this today. And it's ridiculous. I actually have a going bet right now with David Weiss. I don't know if you ever heard of him, Flat Earth Dave. Yeah. If he can prove to me that the earth is flat, I have to get a tramp stamp of his face. If I can prove to him that the earth is, oh yeah, it's great. If I can prove to him the earth is round, he transfers his 3 Bitcoin to me, which, and I've tried providing so many different examples of things, but what he does is it's the same as like Parallax, who, if you don't know who that is, basically dude who made the flat earth conversation we're having today famous. And the way he would do it, he would hit you with fact A, B, C, and D, quote unquote fact. And as soon as an expert is trying to refute point A, also let me bring up FGHI. Well, hold on. Let's go back to exactly. Yep. And then before you know it, we're 4 hours into it and it's time to end. And it's like, all right, cool.
Did you guys ever have any interaction with the social media app Clubhouse by chance?
Can't
I
tell
don't know
you
what that
that or
is.
not.
So
I don't know.
it was a social audio app, right? And it got like huge during the pandemic, right? Because everyone was home. So it's
I was outside.
literally
I'm not gonna lie, I was out.
so I was out quite a bit as well. But it was actually pretty interesting because what ended up happening, because initially it was invite only, right? And so you had to be sent an invite from somebody who was already on.
Mm.
And it was actually kind of cool because it did break out into different likes, dislikes. Like everyone broke off into their cliques and their own interests and stuff. And then there were like general rooms where like everyone could speak and just like stuff like that. And I definitely found my way into some flat earth rooms. And some of those, like, you can still find them on TikTok, the TikTok lives where it's just like literally every conspiracy all the time. It doesn't matter. Like you could make something up and people will go with it, kind of a thing. It was really interesting. There was only one flat earther that made a good point that they've lied about everything else. So why wouldn't they lie about that? Now, that's about the only thing I can agree with is like, well, I mean, NASA is probably bullshit too, but that's about as far as I'm going.
Sure.
Because I'm with you, Raven. I just don't care. Like, it
And I'm
doesn't
even
affect
good.
me.
I
I'm
like
even good to
I
agree
like
with
the
that.
conversations. Like
Right.
I think they're all interesting, and like I don't really care either way. I'm just like, cool. I mean, if you can prove this to me, by all means, like
Right.
I'm down to listen to it. I'm down to hear your side of it. I'm pretty one of those people that, like, for the most part, I mean, you got to really prove something to me to really change my opinion. But
Right.
I'm totally okay with listening to whatever you want to tell me. And my
Same.
one girlfriend like brought over, she printed out the map and she's like, look at this and this and like literally, she was like, girl, like I don't understand how you can't see that. And I was like, but okay. But I
Right.
was like, I all right. I mean, like I don't really it doesn't really matter to me when it comes to flat earth. I mean, I find it really to be interesting, but it does give a lot of people a segue into looking into conspiracies and
Yes.
questioning and
Right.
asking questions about the world around them and wanting more
Right.
knowledge and seeking more knowledge, trying to understand the basics of how earth even operates
Right.
is a plus to me. So, regardless of flat earth argument back and forth, at least we're having conversations or at least trying to gain the knowledge of how the hell does this little ball that we're on or flat plane or whatever the hell it is, snow globe, what happens inside of this? How does it
Right.
happen? And like let's try to learn about that. And that to me at least is a good starting point for people.
No, I agree with that. And as much as I like to shit on flat earthers, I always give them their flowers for the fact that they have blown the lid off of so many conspiracies that were confirmed to be true. And that's because they are looking at
Right.
things from a very different perspective than your average person. So as much as
Granted.
I have my opinions on their belief system and how it's actually a cult they're a part of, I will at least give them the respect and the credit. Oh, I'm serious. Have you ever
Right.
talked to one of
No,
them?
it's a cult. It
Like,
is a
once you
cult.
understand it's flat, then like it shifts your whole perspective and your whole life
Yeah.
changes. It's like, wait, pause. You still got to go to work on Monday. You're still paying taxes.
Yep.
Yeah, but like now you're looking at things a different way. And it's like, it's no, see, this is
I've
cult.
always heard the same thing. I didn't believe it at first either.
It becomes a cult. But
I didn't want to admit it.
but with that, they have also looked at things a lot more critically and from a very
Yeah.
different vantage point than so many other normies, and I'll call myself
Right.
that in a certain regard. And they have found so many conspiracies that
Right.
it's like you got to take the good with the bad when you talk about the flat earthers. I get it.
Now, here's my problem with flat earth. Like this is why I have a problem with it. Because this, in my opinion, there's a pipeline to the one conspiracy that I loathe and I push back actively. And that's the conspiracy that truth doesn't exist, that nothing's real.
I disagree with
That
that.
is
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I totally believe in objective truth.
Mhm.
And so I think that's because once you get to flat Earth, there's no bottom,
Right.
right? It's and unless you're a very aware person, you can go down that route that like everything's fake and it's all just fake and gay. It's like, and I have a big problem with that because it's like, well, no. Objective truth does exist. Right and wrong does exist.
Yep.
Granted, we've been lied to about a lot, but
Mhm.
black pills are a psyop, you
Yep.
know, because they want to kill hope before any meaningful resistance rises up. There is truth out there, and that's why the propaganda exists to begin with. And that's the problem I have with flat Earth. Otherwise, like I have a couple of friends that are flat earthers. I think it's a fun conversation.
Mhm.
Um, and I've seen a couple of flat earthers wreck some people on their knowledge of globe science. So,
Yeah, that's
and that's
true.
always funny to watch.
And I hate it
Mhm.
because those are the episodes that do the best as far as our ratings go. And it's like,
Oh,
bro,
no.
fucking why? We have so
Right.
much more important shit that we drop episodes about every fucking day of the week. But like, okay, here we go. Here's yeah,
Now,
but
I don't
that's the
think
other
I've
thing. We don't
actually had to do a flat Earth episode yet.
you haven't yet. Praise be to God. But like, oh, don't you worry, it's coming. Boy, it's coming.
I don't I don't think we've had to do one yet. I think there's some interesting conversations that people like to have, and I'm just like, the religious conversations to me is one that I get tired of doing. Or that's just because there's so many other things to me to talk about, but that one seems to come up a lot. Just like the Jews, that comes up a lot. Flat Earth comes up a lot. Um what else comes up a lot? There's
And that
certain things that constantly come up, like
yeah.
non freaking stop. And it's like, man, we really could talk about, I don't know, literally all of the entire universe, space, hollow earth, anything in between, the ocean. I mean, there's so much knowledge that you can't even get through in a day. And it's like, nope,
right.
we got to hit the same talking points over and over again. And it's like, dude, it doesn't matter what you're talking about religious wise. Like, let's talk about what's going on right now. But that's
Right.
just me.
No,
And
to
it's
your
just,
point, it
yeah.
depends on the conspiracy though, right?
Yeah, it's
Certain
true.
like
It's
for
true.
instance, if you bring up the Freemasons, we can't bring that up without bringing up Hermetic Kabbalism and
Of
without
course.
bringing
Yeah.
up Christian esotericism and all these things. So like religion will naturally work its way into that conversation, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you that, and that's another thing that we don't avoid. But we just typically, at least with Raven and I, because with Jonathan and me, a lot of our conversations ended up devolving into religious debate when this is supposed
For
to be a
like the
Right.
whole
conspiracy
2
show.
years. Yeah.
And again, nothing. It's not like I'm throwing shade his way by any means. It's just he was of a different mindset than I was,
Right.
and that's fine. It's perfectly normal. So we don't avoid religious conversation, but at the same time, we're not going to do an episode on Catholicism versus Protestant.
Right.
Unless like, okay, if we're talking about a historic conspiracy where it was clearly the Catholic Church trying to shut down this Protestant movement or something, okay, that naturally will work its way into the conversation. But aside from that, it's just one of those things where nobody's going to be better for this conversation with us throwing our 2 cents in it like this.
Right.
If
No,
that makes sense.
I agree. I tend to try to not talk religion, which is
Mhm.
really difficult talking about satanic panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super difficult, but
But it's
if
not your fault that they're actually
Right.
worshiping Baal and Moloch. They're doing that shit. You're just reporting
Right.
on it.
Exactly. So, but I do try to keep it surface level and I do keep my opinions out of it. And if I do share my opinions, I let it be very well known that this is my opinion and this is just what it is. But I keep it
Which is
surface
how
level.
it should be.
Right. And because my relationship between me and God is between me and God, I
Yes.
share that with my wife. I share that with my family or whatever, the people in my household, people that want me to share it with them, I will. But, as for sake of the show or whatever, or like being out in public or whatever, it's nobody's business but mine. And I agree. I think like the esotericism, there's a certain amount that people should know, especially dealing with conspiracies.
Mhm.
Yep.
But I think it
Yes.
gets to a point where you get into the weeds and then the details are overtaking the larger picture. And
Yes.
that's actually kind of the problem with it, because now you're off into the weeds and you've kind of forgotten where you started. And I've met very few people that can actually get into those conversations and then get back out of it and come full circle.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, I
So,
agree.
and
absolutely, man.
now, like, symbolism, love
Sure.
having conversations, but also, once again, surface level.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think really just like my intent is to focus on us being fucked over.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
like, for instance, like even with the alien things, like I love the idea of like the 90s X-Files alien, like that was like prime for
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. But my genuine opinion is that they're like animal human hybrids, you know, something
Mm.
horrific like that.
It's possible.
That they're
Oh.
not actual aliens, and not saying
On
that
the Plum
aliens,
Island.
right, that's
Yeah.
most likely what they are, only because the government told me they exist, so I don't know if I believe them, you know? So it's
But
like,
it took them. It was they finally admitted to it, kicking and screaming. Though they kept that
right,
quote unquote
that is
secret
true.
for so long. You know, I see. I'm of the belief that aliens do exist, but I'm also I believe that multiple things are happening all around us at the same time, that these
I
don't
agree with that
necessarily
as well.
conflict. So, like, I believe there's probably 6 dimensional living entities, and their
Same.
world might be overlaid right on top of ours. At the same time, there's probably life 1 galaxy over from ours that is of our dimension. And on top of
Right.
all of that, I believe that angels and demons and spiritual warfare is happening on top of all of that. And I
Right.
don't believe that these beliefs conflict each other. I believe that they can only happen because of each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm in the same wavelength.
Mhm.
I do just think it's a lot more complicated than we're able to perceive, you know?
Yeah,
But I do think like that's the precursory, like basic level understanding of it for sure.
absolutely. It's like, how
Now,
do you go ahead?
let me ask, what about ghosts? Do you guys believe in ghosts, spirits,
Raven.
Go ahead, Jacob.
banshees?
Oh, so for the longest time, I did not. And I'm still leaning more towards no as far as ghosts go. I believe that, just saying, I believe that we live in a world of black and white. I know this is a lot of people disagree with this. A lot of people think that we live in a world full of only grays. I think that everything is black and white. It's binary. It's ones and zeros. It's yes and no, whatever you want to say. So when it comes to ghosties, I am more leaning towards these are demonic forces that are presenting themselves in the image or form of a deceased human being. But I will give the caveat that I believe that there are some unexplainable things that don't necessarily fall neatly into the realm of the angelic or the demonic. For instance, to say that a battleground where 10,000 dudes lost their lives in the matter of 24 hours, there's no way that that soil didn't come out on the other side of it untainted. Right. So I believe there's like a level of, if we're going to use the term haunted, and I use the term loosely, but it's the best way to quantify this, there's
Right.
something to that. But I don't believe personally, and again, people will disagree with me, and that's fine. I don't believe that our ancestors come back to us in the form of a spirit in some regard. I don't believe that the ghost of Napoleon is going to tell me what business move I need to make next.
Right.
And for the record, I also don't believe in reincarnation. And that's not
Same.
because of my
I don't
Christian
either.
ethos. It has nothing to do with religion. I don't see a point in it. But I've heard people make some very, very good cases as to why reincarnation would make sense and why it would be in the overarching harmonic balance of existence, why that would be a thing that doesn't happen 100% of the time, but it could happen in certain cases. And like, okay, I hear the points. I just strictly on my own personal opinion. Ghosts, I'm putting it at like a 1% probability or something close to them. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, I'm kind of there. It kind of seems to me like maybe there's the possibility of like the thinning of veils.
Sure.
Like there's not ghosts here all the time, but there's opportunities in which, time and space, mesh in just the right way in order for both sides to be able to like, touch each other, but
No. And Raven has a very different opinion on this than I do, for the record.
I do.
Yeah. What's your position?
So I believe in the grays, that the world operates in shades of gray. I don't believe
Right.
that. I believe there is things that are black and white, but I believe that there is a spectrum of grays in how we operate. Um, I believe in ghosts. I believe that there are other spirits here with us. I also believe in reincarnation. So I personally believe that they're here. I think that there is something to it. Now, if that is an echo of somebody from somebody that's passed on, if there is a thinning of veils, if there is another dimension that's overlaying on top of ours that we're getting peeks into, um, maybe that's what it is. I think there's so much unknown. There's so many people that have experienced so many things that don't
Right.
add up, that don't make any kind of sense. I've seen a lot of different things myself, so and I'm not one to just shout at the rooftops and be like, this is what I'm experiencing. It's actually been through talking to people on the podcast and listening to the way that they're describing things. I'm like, huh, okay. Maybe there's something more to it when we're all having similar experiences. Reincarnation is an interesting one to me. I think that I don't think every single person is reincarnated. I think that it is maybe a selection. Maybe there is a type of nirvana that people go to that eventually achieve enlightenment. I don't really particularly know, but I think there is at least a merit that some of us remember things that we shouldn't remember about places and times, and we have kids that can do insane things that they shouldn't be able to do at their
Yeah.
ages, that
Right.
remember how to do all of this stuff that seem to be other people in another body. I think there's just too much to be unexplained, that we just shouldn't just write everything off. So for me
Right.
personally, I would rather keep an open mind. I don't know if I believe in everything, but I also think that limiting what we believe in is going to bite us in the ass, because there's too much to be explained in this world. I mean, if we all believe that there is some type of dimensional, at least multiple dimensions, that there's extraterrestrials, that there is more to this, and then why are we cutting it off at potential spirits, ghosts, whatever we want to call them, echoes, you name it, whatever that label is that you want to throw on top of it. I don't see the point in cutting it off at just that. So
Right.
that's at least
I
me.
mean, so personally, like throughout my life, I've definitely experienced paranormal things that were very clearly evil. And I've also, on the other side, experienced paranormal that was not evil. I don't know what it was. At the end of the day, I would like to think that it was, a guardian angel, or, like I don't even know, but I have definitely experienced the feeling of pure evil. I've seen pure evil, which is actually, so I was a Satanist for 10 years, little over 10 years, practicing Levian Satanist rituals, the whole thing. Not super proud of it, but yeah, you come face to face with evil, and you kind of have to admit that God exists.
Right.
That's my journey. I know some people disagree with that, but I don't care. It's my journey, not theirs. So but
even if it's not with the God versus Satan, just to say that
Right.
there is a spirit realm and that
Yeah.
there is a side of good and a
Right.
side of evil. To acknowledge and go towards the side of evil is to equally acknowledge that the side of good does in fact exist. So yeah,
Well,
that's a fair statement.
It's like I was saying, objective truth does exist. So
Yes.
right and wrong does exist with or without us. And
Mhm.
so if that's the case, then good and evil or good and bad or black and white has to exist.
Right.
Which is I think like why, the symbol of the yin yang is so like powerful.
Mhm.
And why it's lasted so long and got turned into a trope in the 90s. But
Yeah, a little bit.
but I mean if it didn't exist, I don't know what our world would look like. Because I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever been around somebody that's just not a good person, like
Yes.
genuinely a bad person.
Oh
Like
yes.
And
like they
you
get
can,
off
like,
on
smell.
doing evil shit. Yes.
Mhm.
You can
Yeah, you
feel
can.
it. The
Yeah,
energy, you can
totally.
feel it and it like seeps into your bones and you can like it's just it's
Mhm.
like a liquid tar kind of a feeling
Right.
being around them. It's absolutely horrible. Or looking at somebody and you can clearly tell the evil intent within them.
Right.
It's very evident, especially if you really get to know how to look at people. I mean, I'm not like quick to judge people, but I can tell you pretty quickly if there's something off with somebody
Right.
because it's just I've been around so many bad people and experienced so many interesting things that yeah, no, I just don't mess around with people that I feel the ick from or whatever you want to
Right.
call it. I'm just like, cool, so you're evil, I'm gone. I'm done.
Right.
Yo, but for that same reason is why I put a lot of faith in my dog. I'm just being real with you. Dogs can smell a person's intentions. I fully
Yes.
believe this within my heart of hearts. And like somebody comes over to my house for the first time, all right, cool. Yo, but if my dog who loves everyone doesn't fuck with somebody, then I
Right.
know that on a very deep level, something's wrong with this person and I should not trust them.
Right.
That's just how I believe it, you know?
Right. No, I completely agree with that, and I think different animals are kind of the same way. Cats are the same way. They just act differently because they're able to pick up on different things,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but kind of still have the same result. But yeah, I mean, dogs know almost instinctually. It's
Yeah.
just like instantly. Also, I'm 99% sure dogs know if you have eaten dog before. So, like, if you've been to an Asian country and eaten dog, I'm 99% sure they know.
I don't know, dude, because my
I
dog
think they can
loves
smell
Raven
it.
Lee, and she was in Okinawa and definitely has eaten dog
Did you eat
before.
dog?
I didn't know it, and I don't know how true it is, but I was told
Okay, so
after
you
I
don't know for
consumed it.
sure.
I don't know for certain. I'll say that. And I will say that like like dogs are weirdly obsessed with me to a degree that I'm just like, bro, what? What do you need from me?
Happy
Like,
obsessed or
Oh yeah,
like
yes, they like love me. And he can
so
attest to it because I'm like, I will be that one person. Everyone else will want to touch that dog, and I'm just like, I'm good. Like I'm all right. And that dog is like, let me be in your face and glued to your whole soul the
yeah.
entire time. And I'm like, why? There's 20 people that want to touch you. Why me? Like, and
Maybe
it's
because she knows that you've eaten dog before, and she's actually a fucking
see,
savage deep down. Who knows?
all. It's not just. It's all
dogs get
dogs.
pissed if you've eaten dogs though. So they
It's
get
all
weird.
Okay,
dogs, dude. They love me. I
So
don't get it.
if
maybe
they
my
love
girl's
you,
a cannibal, dude. I don't know.
if they love you, it was most likely horse.
Oh,
Well,
Just
maybe.
gonna say.
I
Horses
mean,
actually don't give a shit if you eat
cats
them.
like
So
me too though. Like I have friends that have the most like temperamental pissy cats you've ever met in your life. And like I am literally the only other human that these cats vibe with and will come up and like I even FaceTime the one cat. And like as soon as I'm on the
that's
FaceTime,
so
I'm like,
awesome.
I'm like, meow meow kitty, and she's like, meow. And so like
Yeah, you got that Snow
and
White genes. What it
and I
is?
don't get it because it's not like I'm like out here, I have a child that is like Snow
Right,
White and like
Mhm.
animals love this kid. And I'm like, good for
right.
you. You want to be a zoologist? Me, I'm just like, I mean, I don't mind you. You just be over there with your people. Like, and but
I
they are
love
like,
my animals. I
Yeah.
yeah,
don't care. I mean, like I like my friends' animals or my other family members, but like other people's animals, I'm like, nah, I don't know. I like that you like them. Just
That's,
they're
I
not
mean,
they're
and
not
people
my
get
thing.
upset. People get so upset with me that I am not like wanting to obsessively pet their dogs. And I'm like, it's not my dog. I don't,
No, I
I'm
love all
good.
the
Right.
dogs. Well, all actual dogs. There's a size limit
I
to what
do
I
love all
classify
There
as a
is
dogs.
dog.
not a size limit. The little
There is.
dogs are so adorable. I've owned plenty of them.
No, no,
They're
no.
adorable, but they're not like that's not my vibe. Pretty much from an English
Crime against
bulldog on
nature.
up is about the size limit of what I'll classify as a dog. Anything under that is you know, borderline
Crime
rodent.
against nature.
Yeah,
I
territory.
love little
Yeah.
dogs. They're cute. But yeah, no, animals are interesting because I get a lot of people that are like, my dog doesn't like anyone as this dog's like licking my whole face. And I'm like, I I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what to
You
tell
don't
you.
say.
It's like it's not like I'm out here like, please love me. They're all right. Like, but I like my own animals. I mean, but I don't
Right.
have no dogs or cats. I like chickens. I'm a chicken person.
I
I like
love
chickens.
chickens.
And
So
I love cows. So like
cows are great.
I like pigs. Like
Alpacas
I'm
are
a farm
great.
animal kind of
Pigs
person.
are okay. So I was actually a vegetable farmer for many, many years, almost 10 years actually. And it was actually my responsibility to take care of the animals because I liked
Mhm.
doing it. The goats were assholes.
Goats are
I mean,
such
they were
assholes.
fun. They were fun, right? But I mean, they were assholes because they play pranks. The
Mm-hmm.
alpacas are just emo bitches.
Yes, they
They're
are.
cute though, especially when you squirt them down with water.
They
Yeah,
look
until
like
they
little
fucking
wet things. Like
Yeah,
until they
yeah,
exactly.
spit all over you, then they're
Right,
back to being
right.
assholes.
yeah, they go.
But animals are great, honestly. I like animals a lot better than most people.
I love the way
Um,
they taste. So here we are, you know.
I am I'm a big proponent of PETA, people eating tasty animals.
Indeed, which is part of the
So,
reason why I have an English Mastiff as a dog. If push ever really came to shove and we were in survival territory, that dog will feed my family for at least 2 days.
hey, man's best friend.
I'm just saying, you know, that and also because I was
Right.
obsessed with the Sandlot as a child. So clearly, English Mastiff was what was in the cards for me. So either way,
Heavy Metal said that chickens freak her out because they would follow her. Yeah, no, they follow the alpha of the flock. Like
They do
that's their jam. They love to follow you around. Like I
because they
actually
feel
had a chicken.
comfortable and they feel protected. So if
Mm-hmm.
they follow you, it's actually a good sign.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I had a chicken that was, and I still pretty much mourn her all the time. Her name was Gaga, and she was a part of my family. And she actually they we had a dog that we were babysitting, and long story short, the dog got out, the chickens were out of the coop. They came to me because obviously I'm their person, and they were really a part of our family, and she tried to protect me from this dog that was going rampant. I mean, I don't know why the little bird would thought that she was going to save me, but she
right.
attacked it and ended up killing her for it and stuff. But um it was she would come in, she liked to come in and watch cartoons. She loved
That's
Christmas
so funny.
because she loved the Christmas lights and stuff, but like she didn't we potty trained her. So like she would go back out and go to the bathroom and then come back in, and she loved to cook in the kitchen and stuff like that. And it wasn't like she was gross or nothing. She would come in and she would, because
Right.
at my back door to the kitchen and stuff is easy. So she could come in and hang out, and then she'd go back out and whatever. And I mean, they definitely have their own little personalities, as much to
Oh yeah.
people's dismay. They think that they have like no brain cells, and some of them are really stupid, like legitimately
Yeah, they're
dumb,
dumb.
dumb, dumb, dumb.
But
But
so are
some of
people.
them, yeah, but some of them actually are really really cool, and I've had some really good birds. And I don't know. I mean, if you vibe so much with your dog and cat,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
mean, I don't know why people can't vibe with, a tiny little jumping spider,
Yeah.
or a snake or this or that. I like farm animals. I grew up with them. So,
No, I
yeah.
agree. I agree. And you know, in my opinion, people are unpredictable, you know? So
yeah.
Yeah.
even people close to you sometimes can be unpredictable, and at least animals, they're innocent for the most part. So it's like You know, they're easy to
Mhm.
deal with. I'm not too big on the poop thing, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. Poop thing is not my jam either. But I
Yeah,
will say Arabian horses though, they will hold a grudge. And
right.
they are spiteful bitches. So be really careful if you're around Arabians because man, they are temperamental little things. I used to work as a ranch hand with 32
Okay.
of them. So
Ah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting because they would play pranks. Like we have some that would they didn't like the guy that I worked with, one of the
Right.
guys, and so they would like lie in wait behind the door and purposely like I swear to God they would jump out and if they could if a horse could laugh, it would laugh at them scaring him, and all of them would be like, like it was hilarious. I'm like, you what the hell? I was like, horses playing pranks on people is just a weird thing to witness, but I
Yeah.
definitely witnessed a lot of it.
When I was when I was in charge of the farm animals down at it was a farm called Black Island Farm, vegetable farm mainly. The animals were there for the harvest festival, but they had a pair of donkeys, Jack and Jill, and or Jack and Jenny, and they would play pranks on everyone, and like legitimately, like turn around, they would dump their water out, and then they would run around the building and watch for you to come out, fill up the water again, and then they would run after you left the pen, tip it back over, and then run back behind the building. So, I mean, when you give
Oh yeah.
animals or creatures the room to be able to just exist, they do actually have personalities, even if they are dumb. But
Hmm.
I do want to start wrapping up on this, but there's something I wanted to ask you guys before we get out of here. And by the way, fun time sin deed. I saw your question and I will give you an answer, but just want to start wrapping up on this first. So I want to ask your guys' opinion with as crazy as everything is. I mean, it seems like we have a million things being dropped on us at once. Like, what's your guys' advice for people as, I guess, professional conspiracy theorists? How do we navigate this, in your opinion? What's some pieces of advice that you guys have learned that's, I guess, an always go to in your arsenal of being able to navigate this information hellscape?
Raven.
I think that you need an outlet still. I think that you need to still focus on taking care of your mental health and your physical health. I think that people get lost in this all consuming, uh, honestly, like hellish kind of a situation we found ourselves in with everything that's coming at us from all different angles. Pick something to focus on to try to do. Like for me, I'm doing my garden right now. I'm getting it together. I went and got more stuff tonight, and the garden is going to be set up. And like my goal is to make my house as much of a sanctuary for my family as possible, and to
I
at
love
least
that.
start with my garden. Because for me personally, I'm one of these people. First off, I'm barefoot almost all the time, as much as I can be. I personally
Fuck yeah.
I feel really connected when I'm barefoot out in my garden and I'm working with my hands in the dirt. It's very soothing to me. I grew up like this, and so it's just for me personally to help my mind unwind, to help my stress and stuff. I feel like I'm connecting with the energy of the world and the plants around me and everything else. And so I go out in the garden. I also read fantasy books. And so when we're talking about heavy topics back to back to back, I escape into a fantasy realm in my own little mind of reading a book, or I do artwork. I spend time with my family. Working out's a really good way to kind of get your mind off of it. Start trying to prepare in some kind of way, though, for honestly disasters. Have a plan, talk to your family, talk to your partners, talk to your friends, create a community around you that, hey, these people I trust, these people, when shit hits the fan, at least we can depend on each other. Start trying to buy some things to help yourself and your family be able to prepare for different scenarios, and you'll find more comfort when you're more prepared for things and just kind of keeping an eye out, but don't get consumed with all the heaviness of the world, because we cannot control that we're in a war. It's not gonna, we cannot control this. We cannot control that all these people are pedophilic, psychotic Satanists that are eating, killing children. We
True.
literally cannot control this. They have so much power right now compared to us because we're so divided. But what you can control is making sure you have food for your family if a natural disaster happened or some kind of pandemic happened. Make sure you have stock medicine, because realistically you're going to want it. Stock stuff to be able to help with water supply. Figure out those kind of things. Work on your garden. Do different things to help your family, because right now the big picture is not something that we can worry about, because we can't control anything until a society comes together and really wants change. Right now, we got to focus on our daily lives and what is going to protect our mental sanity and also protect our families.
Yep.
Hey,
Honestly, I very much a caveat off of what she is saying here. If you're not carrying a weapon, now is the time. Carry at all times. If you're living in a state where it's against the law, break the law. Carry a weapon. Trust me.
yep.
Also
Sell
having
your
a
robes
plan.
to get a sword.
I wasn't gonna quote the Bible, but boy, you own it. Even Jesus said, if you don't have a sword, sell your shit and buy one. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's my
Right.
point. So also have a plan, whether that's a plan for holding up and holding a defensive posture or an evacuation route to get to a better position or whatever the case. Have a plan. Having a plan is better than having nothing, right? Just start acquiring knowledge. Knowledge is something that does not cost you anything and it doesn't weigh anything in your pack. And by knowledge, I don't mean, like we're talking about history here. This history that we have been discussing will never help us if an end of the world apocalypse type of situation happens. But what I'm saying is, as far as survival goes, having a basic knowledge on how to start a fire with no lighter or matches, what trees you can use to get water from, how to build certain things from literally nothing. These are very good skills to have that will cost you nothing and weigh nothing in your pack. As far as the way our world is going, listen, I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's going to get worse before it gets better, because to be honest with you, I am not of the opinion that it's going to get better. I'm just not. And that's not because I'm black pilled. It's because I'm a realist. So with that in mind, you need to make the preparations for you and your family now so that you don't have to make these preparations when it's too late. Right. And to put it into perspective, had an old dude I worked with once upon a time that used to drive an 18-wheeler. And he got off the road, and I asked him why. You're traveling, you're making good money. What was up? He's like, because even when I was at home, I was working on the truck. Because if you're not turning wrenches in your driveway, you'll be turning wrenches on the side of the road. And that's not where you want to be when shit hits the fan. My point is, don't get caught on the side of the highway when shit hits the fan.
Right.
Also, pray often. It's good for you.
No, I totally agree. So going through all of my political stuff and my activism, everything I did, I came to the conclusion that the best. So first of all, we are in a war. I mean, our food is being poisoned, our air is being poisoned, our water's being poisoned. We're being poisoned through pharmaceuticals. They're turning the freaking frogs gay.
Literally.
Shit, they're turning the people gay.
Right. Atrazine is no joke.
There's a plant not far from the house that makes it. So yeah, that's real shit.
Yeah. I mean, I was around Roundup quite a bit. Like I said, I was a farmer. So, and that shit is no joke, but we are in this battle. And I think I said this the first time I came on to your guys' show, is that the battlefield is in the home. And the only meaningful resistance is going to be a decentralized, independent movement of everyone deciding simultaneously to take personal responsibility for themselves and to become more independent, less dependent upon the system, and learn the skills like you both were saying. And if you can't learn a particular skill, find somebody who knows that skill, or get a book on it or something. It's better than
Absolutely.
nothing.
Learn how to make shit with your hands.
Right.
Yep.
Learn a skill, even if it's just one. Learn a skill because it's going to be useful, because then you'll always have a way to make money or to be able to earn food or something. Every convenience is a skill lost.
Yeah.
And,
Damn, that's a pretty powerful sentence, actually. Wow.
That was that was a really good one, honestly.
Well, like I said earlier, Americans now have not had to struggle for a long time.
Not really, yeah.
And we've had it really, really good for a long, long time. The struggle is coming back, and there's nothing wrong with it if you take action now.
Yep.
Buy some physical media like books and other things to keep you entertained, cards, board games, these sorts of things, and just learn a skill for fun. The rule in my house is a new skill once a month. At least try it. Even if we don't stick with it, we try it once a month. Some things have stuck, but you do baby steps, and you also build a community. You can use communities like your guys' community, run into like-minded people, right? I mean, we're going to have liberty enclaves. They're going to be all over the place because it's going to be decentralized. Because the state, the tyranny, is organized and very centralized. So a resistance would have to be decentralized in nature. I'm actually very hopeful and white-pilled for the future, because humans overcome and adapt all the time. And I see more people awake and aware of what's going on than I've ever seen before. I mean, I can actually have the conversation of chemtrails now.
Yeah.
Some people still get pissed, but there's more people listening than ever before. MK Ultra is like an easy conversation. And still a couple of things like the vaccine conversation, still not, that's still a hot button. But nonetheless, I'm very hopeful for the future, because we're Americans and we will come out on top. But right now is the time to do something. Otherwise, you're going to be up a creek without a fucking paddle. So, but
aim into that.
On that note, I want to thank both of you so much for coming on and spending the time with me and my audience this evening.
Thank you.
I had a wonderful, wonderful time, but let everyone know where they can find you, what you have coming up, anything you want to plug, whatever you want to shout out.
Raven, do you want to do this one or me?
You're way better at that than me, but hey, don't forget the flavor.
Oh yeah. So
we gotta give our shameless plug though, the Flavor of Forest. So
yeah, Flavors of the Forest. If y'all like seasoning your food with good, natural, wholesome, healthy ingredients, then go check it out. Flavors of the Forest. Use promo code CULT at checkout for 15% off your order. And
they're my homies from Oregon. So
yeah,
send me the link and I'll put it in the episode description.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And dude, honestly, I might even send you a bottle of this shit so just so you can try it. Do you like garlic?
Good.
Yeah, dude, I eat raw.
This is the best garlic seasoning ever. It's not powder.
This is my favorite.
Bigfoot breath. Lion's mane is excellent. The spicy Bigfoot breath is phenomenal. Anyway, can't give enough of a shameless plug to them. But yeah, dude, we are the Cult of Conspiracy. You can find us anywhere you listen to things. The Google Music, the Amazon, I think we're even on Pandora, for fuck's sake. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where there is a audio platform, you'll find us. We are not on YouTube. The only place you can find the video evidence of anything that we do is on patreon.com/Cult of Conspiracy Podcast. It's the only place to get our shows commercial free, and it's the best place to support us directly. We got a couple of tiers for entry over there. You go to that lowest tier, that $5 a month tier, and you'll get to join us every you'll be able to see the shows a couple of days in advance. You'll get to see all the videos that we have, and also it's all commercial free. You go to that third eye all the way open tier, as we like to say, open up that third eye. It's our phrase. Then you'll also get to join us every Tuesday night for our Cult Member Live. It's a Zoom link that we send out to all of our Patreon members of that tier and up. You'll also get to join Raven Lee for her book club that she hosts every Sunday night, which Raven, if you want to tell the people about it.
So pretty much we read books. We have a whole jar of different types of conspiracy books and all different types of books to read, and once a month we make a poll, and then for the whole month we read through the book, and I ask questions every single week. We get together for 1 hour on Sundays, and we go over it. We talk about what's in the book and how does that apply to our real life. And so right now we're going to be entering into our third book, which is going to be really cool. So just come join us. It's a really good time. We're gonna hopefully get an author or two to come in as well. We're meeting more and more authors, and so I'm hoping that we will be able to pull their books and actually have them come in and really talk to us about what, their knowledge on these things. So yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, we have that top tier, the manic tier, where you'll get everything that we just listed, but you'll also get exclusive merchandise that we will send directly to you. We are in the process of getting a merch store off the ground. However, the manic tier t-shirts will never be available on any merch store ever. They will only be available for our top tier manic members on Patreon. Aside from that, you can find us on the socials, on the Instagram, and on the TikTok. We don't really have much of a presence on Facebook. We had some issues with them kicking us or trying to kick us once upon a time.
Yeah.
We don't have a presence
Facebook
on
is
X.
lame anyways.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram is where you can get to us the easiest if you're not on our Patreon. We answer everything, we see everything. So come join us.
Yes, indeed.
Hell yeah. Well, for those who are still here, and yes, I did not forget your question. Fun times indeed. So to answer you real quick, only because this is not quite the appropriate place for me to answer this question. This is going to be a topic I will discuss more on my Satanic Panic is Real series. But to just flat out answer your question, no, I did not. The reason I did not is because I actually like animals, for one. For two, I never believed that hurting or sacrificing an animal would actually gain anything other than hurting or sacrificing an animal. And this is actually a point of contention between me and fellow Satanists at the time, many of which I had, because a decentralized theology or ethical structure or anything, everyone can kind of choose their own route and what they want and what they don't want, which is how Satanists are able to speak out of both sides of their mouth, which is why in the Satanic Bible, Anton LaVey says that Satanists will not sacrifice humans unless you feel the need to do so. So they won't do it. It's illegal. It's terrible. Unless you decide that it's worthy, then they'll do it. So everyone can kind of decide that for themselves. But once again, this is not really the appropriate episode to have the deep discussion on that. So make sure and hit the like, share, subscribe, all of those wonderful things. And make sure and check out my Satanic Panic is Real series, which is where I will be discussing these topics along with my personal experiences. If you want more of my personal experiences, they're mainly going to be over on my Substack, which is Beware the Mockingbird. So make sure and check that out. You can find all of the places I am, all 22 different links, by going to my master link, which is allmylinks.com/rise to liberty, which is in the episode description. You can also check out merch at risetoliberty.store. I've got all sorts of mind control merch and posters, onesies, everything but the water bottle that they won't fucking let me remove for some reason, but it's sold out. It's never coming back. But we do have big 16-ounce solid black coffee mugs with a great design. So on that note, make sure check out Jacob and Raven's links in the episode description. Check out what they have going on. Go subscribe to their show. And I think that's pretty much it, unless you guys have something else. But let's
Yeah.
let's get you guys back at a certain point. This was fun.
Yeah,
This was a
this is
great
great.
conversation. And I hope everyone out there, whether you're watching it live or watching the replay, that you all liked it as well. Let us know by leaving a comment or hitting that like button. And on that note, the next show will be Monday. We've got all sorts of fun stuff that I'm doing all weekend to bring you guys some of the best content I think I've ever done. We've got more articles coming out Wednesday, Already Dead on Tuesday, and I don't know. There's just a lot. So subscribe and hang out and keep an eye out. But until then, I would say stay free, my friends. Hang out, guys, and we'll wrap up on the back end.